Somewhere in prison, there is a young man who is being bullied. In that cell he was bullied by several people, and currently he is experiencing it. This young man thought that today's bullying was go too far. But they didn't care too much about it and continued on. This man name was Kim Sungo, and that man did this because that young man needed money. That this young man would do anything for money. Like clearing snow outside for 301. Warm the shoes of all prisoners in the cell for 101. Acting like a pet for 201. And now the human target game, for a whopping 501. Because this young man needed money, so he was forced to do this. A juvenile detention center is a place where the prison is specifically for detaining people who are less than 20 years old. A place where oppression and bullying occur every day. But suddenly the rope from the object was cut. In the end, they didn't end up playing the human tag game. The coins were thrown into the bathroom. Then plunged into the toilet. It seems like they had a bad idea about this. Cha Ju-young is this young man's name. He seems lucky today. Suddenly he immediately ran to get the coin. But Kim won't let Ju-young get it that easily. He was told to take the coin using his mouth in the toilet. But without a word, he immediately took the coin with his mouth. People who saw this naturally felt disgusted. They don't believe this because Ju-young is willing to throw away his pride for 501. But it seems like he had a purpose for daring to do this, and made it 50,001. Finally, after the hour outside was up, they immediately went into the cell. The other purpose of this young man is to collect money, but it has the main purpose of defeat someone. But they are confused why they are Ju-young obsessed with money. There is someone who wants to visit Ju-young. He has a reason to collect money. He was visited by a woman, and she asked about the condition Ju-young of thin. Whether the food provided was small or he was beaten by someone, she turns out to be Ju-young's childhood friend named Daeun. She was the only person who visited him when he had problems like this. He was confused about why Yun visited him so often because it would only waste her money. Yun, who heard Ju-young talking about this, looked angry. Then she asked about the coins that Ju-young had collected for her. According to Yun, it's not because she doesn't have parents, she needs money, Ju-young can't interrupt. But because of their promise. When they graduated from school, they promised to live together in Seoul. What she needs to pay attention that Ju-young must take good care of himself here. The visiting time ended. Yun asks Ju-young to focus so he can get out of this prison soon. Don't push yourself too much, and promise her. But he wasn't sure about that. When he heard about promise, he remembered Yun's past. When he was in the hospital, he apologized to Yun. Apologized for getting Yun into trouble. She immediately became angry when he heard Ju-young's apology. Because that's not what he should be worried about, it should be his father's condition. Ju-young's father was there because of him, and if his father still didn't wake up, then the police wouldn't stay silent. But he didn't mind about it. What is certain that Ju-young will not be punished severely. But his suspicions were completely wrong. Ju-young was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Even though all this time he was being tortured by his father, but in one moment he couldn't hold back his anger, then he got prison. At the time of Ju-young's arrest, Yun was very worried and had to speak up if something happened to him. He had to promise her that even in prison, if cause trouble, his sentence increases, but on the contrary, if he model prisoner, his presence can be reduced. In 3 years he decided to endure and survive because of Yun's promise. In the cell he always saw a photo with Yun. Suddenly Kim approached him when he saw the photo. He was shocked when he saw Kim coming. Kim asked whether his relationship with that person was dating or not. Ju-young answered that she was just friends. But he asked for the photo instead. But Ju-young refused to do that. Because his request was rejected, Kim immediately tried to hit him. But at the same time, suddenly a new person entered their cell. Kim didn't expect someone new to arrive today. The man was bald and now he would be in that cell. But the others looked shocked because they knew who the man was. Someone who defeated 7 bullies at his school. The man's name is Ma Jiam. He is here because he defeated 7 bullies at school. Ju-young, who heard this, was shocked. Kim, who heard that, didn't seem afraid of that person at all. He looks dismissive of Jayam and mocking him a bit. He continues to badmouth Jayam and try to provoke him. At this time, Jayam was just silent and didn't respond to Kim's words. It looks like he doesn't care about Kim's words and walks away from him. Kim doesn't seem to like this, and tries to attack Jayam from behind. He has great reflexes, so Kim's attack was anticipated. They looked surprised by that. After successfully anticipating it, Jayam tried to retaliate with a punch. Here Juyong knows that the man not just defeat the person who bullied him, he is different from the others. However, he seemed to loosen up his punch a little, and at the same time he got punched by Kim. He immediately beats Jayam brutally. They could only remain silent when Kim did that. They seemed to laugh when saw Jayam being beaten by Kim, but not Juyong. When Jayam was sitting, Kim continued to corner him. He didn't fight back at all when Kim did that. It looked like Jayam was being held back. They also overrun up on Jayam at that time. Juyong could only see it while cleaning the bathroom. Evening came. When it was time for bed, Juyong wanted to know why Jayam didn't want to obey orders from Kim, the boss of the cell here. He suggests that Jayam just follow boss Kim's words, and tells him to be careful in the future. But Jayam doesn't confirm this, and looks like he knows that Juyong always gets bad treatment here. He was a little surprised to hear that. After getting advice from Jayam about miserably, he pondered a little about his past life, that every day he always lived in miserably. In the past he faced a big problem in his life that could no longer be ignored. Yun is worried about Juyong's condition, who is now thin. So now she brings him all kinds of food. Now she comes back again to prison to visit Juyong. She started to cross the road. She was very happy when visited Juyong, especially now that she had brought him food, which would definitely make him happy. But suddenly there was a truck speeding. Yun, who was walking across, was very surprised to see the truck speeding away. A very undesirable event occurred quickly. She was seen lying on the road, along with the food she was carrying. The next day, a guard told Juyong that something had happened to someone close to him. He looks very shocked when he hears the news about Yun. He received news suddenly. He was completely shocked by it and was speechless. Jayam, who saw Juyong today, seemed different from usual. There, Kim looked angry because Juyong hadn't cleaned the bathroom. As he approached Juyong, Kim was confused as to why he kept looking at that photo at all times today. He was told by his friend because there was someone who had a bad experience in front of prison, and that person was Juyong's girlfriend. At that time, Kim felt annoyed because he had been lied to all this time, so he forced to take the photo from Juyong. Then he mocking the photo in front of his friends, along with insulting the photo in front of Juyong. They continued to insult and curse at Yun on purpose in front of Juyong. It looks like Kim really enjoyed this game for what it did to Juyong. He can only stay silent and do nothing when all the prisoners speak ill of Yun. Jayam, who saw Juyong, also didn't know what he was really thinking. Suddenly he saw something surprising. At the same time, it turned out that Juyong immediately launched a punch at Kim. The blow was so hard that Kim immediately fell down because of the strongest of the blow. People who there were shocked when they saw this incident. He couldn't move because of the blow. It seemed like Juyong's anger had reached limit, because he was fed up with what Kim was doing. Jayam, who saw it, was very shocked. He then remembered the previous time he talked to Juyong. At that time Juyong told Jayam about his father. That his father was the right-hand man of small-time gangster boss. So since childhood he has been violence from his father. Because he is Juyong's biological father, he can still endure all that. But there was one moment when he couldn't endure it all anymore. When his father messes with Juyong's friends. Those who saw Kim being hit by Juyong did not remain silent and immediately attacked him simultaneously. All he remembered from his father was learning about fighting until the end. There a fight broke out. Juyong himself fought all the prisoners in the same cell. He seemed to dominate the fight. He let out all the anger he had kept until today, and took it all out on them. Jayam, who saw Juyong rampage as if he couldn't believe this, turned out he was a great fighter. In the end they were all defeated at Juyong's hands. It looks like Kim has also lost, and he begs for forgiveness, then will give all his money to Ju Young. For him money no longer means anything, because his hope is gone, can be seen starting to beat Kim brutally. The reason he collected money and endured everything that happened in this place had disappeared. Finally a crushing blow was delivered right in Kim's face. Jiam, who saw Ju Young, could only be silent without being able to do anything. As a result of the blow, Kim was no longer helpless. All the prisoners in this cell were defeated by Ju Young alone. It turns out all this time he was pretending to look weak for one reason, and now that one reason is gone, then he has released his limits to all these prisoners. Since childhood, he has experienced bad things from his father. Again and again he gets this every day. Follow his footsteps and become a gangster, that's what his father said. His father wanted Ju Young to grow up to be strong. Until the day he deserves to get the same tattoo as his father. But Ju Young didn't want that, and refused his father's wishes. Suddenly the guards came to the cell and checked what was happening. He was shocked when he saw this incident. It looks like Ju Young managed to defeat the prisoners in this cell alone. The guard asked him this. It is true that Ju Young is the one responsible for all of these incidents. As a result of what he did, he was immediately exiled to a special cell. It looks like the whole time he kept looking at his photo with Yun. He also remembered the time of the promise with her. At that time, Ju Young had experienced torture from his father on the day of the entrance ceremony. She doesn't like this, because for Yun this is too much. For her, his father would not come to this entrance ceremony. But it doesn't matter to him, and for him the bruise will get better in 2 days, but it looks like Yun doesn't like this. Then she will try talk to Ju Young's father about this. But he didn't want that, and made her never come to Ju Young's house. He makes sure Yun doesn't talk to his father and makes a deal with her. But for homeless like Yun, he couldn't want that suffering. She spoke honestly to Ju Young, that later he wanted to live in Seoul. After she graduated from school she wanted to live in Seoul. Because she is already frustrated with fanage life and suffocating neighbored. She wants to live in Seoul and go to a good university, then work for a big company. Ju Young, who heard Yun's wishes, was shocked by her aspirations. Then Yun wants Ju Young to come with her and be with her dreams. He heard this in shock, and they finally made a promise about it. Finally they made this promise, and will not break that promise ever. That's where they make memories. A memory that he will never forget during his life with Yun. He looked very frustrated in the cell, and he thought that if Ju Young wasn't in this cell then Yun would definitely never visit him almost every day. He continues to feel guilty about himself until now. He continued to vent his frustration at the wall. Annoyed that all of this was Ju Young's fault. Fatal mistake that ever happened in his life. The fault that made Yun end up like that. Ju Young looks like he's crying about that. Then the guard came over to Ju Young, who was frustrated. The guard told him to eat, because he still hadn't eaten all day. Finally Ju Young stopped, and apologized to the Goor, and will soon eat food. On the other side, Jiam is eating during his free time in the cafeteria. While eating, he heard other people's words about the incident that had happened recently. The incident was about Ju Young defeated all the prisoners in a cell alone. The incident occurred because the room leader mocked Ju Young's girlfriend who had a truck incident. Jiam, who heard that, could only listen. But suddenly someone tried to approach the two of them. Then that man immediately beat in one movement. He seemed offended, because they didn't invite him to chat about it. It seemed to the man that the things they were talking about seemed very interesting. This man named Park Jongchan, it looks like he is one of the strongest in this prison. Looks like now he has a plan to beat someone. Those who heard this seemed afraid. One of them tried to calm him down, as none of them had anything against Park. Looks like the person Park kept quiet looks fine. He tried to apologize to Park for speaking unnecessarily. Finally he forgave him, and it seemed like he wanted to confirm something. He wanted to confirm something to them, that the thing they were talking about was called Cha Ju Young. Jiam, who heard Ju Young's name, knew that Park would do something to Ju Young. 1 week has passed. This guard told Ju Young that the room leader he defeated earlier was still in the hospital. Because of this, Ju Yong has only been able to leave this special cell for a week. And the guard also reminded him not to cause any more problems in the future. Finally, Ju Yong returned to his old cell. It could be seen from his still gloomy face. Jayam thinks that Ju Yong has committed insubordination to the room leader. After seeing the conditions here, Jayam thought the people in this cell would not allow that. Suddenly one of them came over to him. Unexpectedly, that person actually greeted Ju Yong's condition. Jayam is confused about the attitude of the prisoners towards Ju Yong. They asked about his condition while in the special cell, and told him to rest now. While they are busy greeting Ju Yong, Jayam is seen opening a book. He also wrote about a condition that was currently taking place in the cell. That at school they consider strength, parents, looks, and various other factors. But in this juvenile detention center, strength is everything. Free time has arrived. It can be seen that the prisoners are free to do whatever they want. Here Jayam is still busy writing in his book. Beside him, there was Ju Yong who was trying to greet him. He asked Jayam something serious. He explains past incident related to Jayam. The incident where Ju Yong went rampage and planned to defeat the room leader. It turns out that their Jayam was trying to stop Ju Yong from doing anything excessive. There must have been a purpose to his actions that day. Even though previously Jayam defeated 7 people and ended up here. He just wants to know why Jayam did that to him. According to Ju Yong, Jayam's actions do not reflect his true self. In the past, when he was at school, he saw a tragedy that confused him. Tragedy where he went on a rampage and defeated 7 students alone. He was confused about what he was doing at that time. It seems that even now he still can't explain this. Suddenly, when the conversation was going on, someone appeared and asked where Ju Yong was. Turns out he's Jongchan, the man who caused trouble a while back in the cafeteria, and now he's come to Ju Yong. Jong tries to talk him, because how can this weak-looking man beat Kim? It looked like he still hadn't heard Ju Yong's answer. He also asked something else, how he could beat Kim at that time. Ju Yong was currently in no mood to answer that, and told Jong to leave. He was shocked when he heard such an answer. Looks like he's planning something. He looked very annoyed when he heard this, and annoyed when he saw Ju Yong's arrogant attitude. Suddenly he made a move. Sudden movement using the foot, and kicking strongly right at Ju Yong. And now John will teach him about manners. After kicking, he grabbed Ju Yong's head to carry out the next attack. Jong immediately gathers strength in his left hand to punch. But suddenly a guard saw the fight. It seems that the guard does not allow fighting during free times. He also stopped the action because he had been discovered. The guard walked back, and it seemed like they were just joking. Jayam just looks at it, but he thinks of something. As the room leader, under the pretext of maintaining order, someone can fight as he want, that the rules of this juvenile prison. It was seen that he was starting to return to attack Ju Yong. But Ju Yong did not counter the blow, and the blows continued. Jayam looks confused about what Ju Yong is thinking right now. Finally he was thrown into the net barrier due to Jong's attack. If Ju Yong continued like that, then he could easily finish him off. When he rolled up his sleeves to prepare to punch, there was a tattoo on his hand. Ju Yong, who saw the tattoo, was shocked, because he seemed to know the tattoo. A tattoo figured a dragon that looks familiar. When he saw the tattoo, he immediately remembered his father. An incident where every day he received rage from his father. His tattoo is exactly the same as his father's, which is a dragon figure. Can see when Ju Yong remembers the tattoo, he seems to think something. John seems to have other ways to get Ju Yong excited about fighting. While trying to hit Ju Yong, he was talking about woman the truck incident. Suddenly a surprise attack came from the foot towards Jong. The kick attack came from Ju Yong, and now he will revenge for what Jong said about Yun. Can be seen holding Jong's hand backwards. After holding Jong's hand, he immediately attacked using his feet. He seemed annoyed because he had been treated like that. It seems like Ju Yong doesn't like Jong, who mentioned the truck incident. He apparently was still confused by what Ju Yong said. Then attacked again using his feet hard. Jong tells him to let go, while threatening Ju Yong. But instead he continued to attack Jung. Until finally Ju Yong held his hand right at the tattoo. He immediately twisted Jung's hand. Could be seen from his face that he was afraid and begged Ju Yong for forgiveness. A terrible incident occurred. Once again Ju Yong had gone too far. Jiam was shocked when he saw Ju Yong's action. It looks like he no longer has any humanity left in him. Jung finally lost in this incident. An incident where when someone tries to offend Yun, Ju Yong won't let it happen, and will respond even more to it. In the past, his neighbors always talked about him, because Ju Yong's father was a gangster, and they said his father's character passed down to his son. Then for them it will have a bad impact on their environment and all their neighbors. But Ju Yong, who looked battered, could only be patient in facing this ordeal. He returned to his house. But when he entered his house, he was surprised to hear something from inside. The sound of a loud woman screaming came from inside the house. He seemed to recognize the sound of the scream, and immediately went inside to check what was happening. Suddenly he was very surprised when he saw what was happening in front of him. It turns out that his father had just beaten Yun until she was unconscious. His father had hit Ju Yong's friend, Yun. He was shocked by what his father had done to his friend. His father told Ju Yong that the woman suddenly came into the house and made a bold statement to him. A statement that says it is better not to have a father than to continue hurting his own son. Suddenly he remembered Yun's words a while ago when she wanted to talk to his father. Because of that, Yun experienced bad things from Ju Yong's father. When he remembered and heard what happened, he was confused about what to do. He tried to be patient and calm, but he was actually very angry about it. He could only hold back his anger, still trying to remain calm. But what his father did to his friend was beyond the limit. Then his father tried to remind Ju Yong, if she still does this to him, then he won't hesitate anymore. Finally, Ju Yong's anger could no longer be contained. He grabbed a flower vase and immediately hit him. When the incident happened, Yun was still unconscious. In the incident where he had vented all his anger, that occurred because had hurt his closest friend. The incident caused Ju Yong's father to be hospitalized. The doctor said Ju Yong's father had little chance of recovering. Only a miracle can make him recover. It seems like he doesn't regret his actions at all, because the suffering he received will end. Returning to the juvenile prison, saw that people had gathered around the area, because Ju Yong had fought with someone. The other prisoners thought Ju Yong was crazy, and they thought that soon he would be transferred to another prison. An incident where he had defeated the person who previously challenged him, until finally the person was battered. It can be seen that his hand also has serious injuries and there is a tattoo that Ju Yong knows about. A voice came from the speaker, indicating that free time had over and ordering the prisoners to return to their cells. They immediately returned to their respective cells. But in the window someone could be seen monitoring the situation there. Conversations ensued. What happened was very noisy. This happened because the contents of this prison were young people who were full of energy. He was one of the higher-ups at the juvenile prison, congratulating the man on being got out from the hospital. It seems that this high official really respects the man, because he will give the man everything he wants if he needs it. This top official is named Quan Chang-sik, director of juvenile prison. Quan asked the man who he wanted to meet in this prison. On the other side, the place where Ju Yong is. The prisoners in the cell all looked silent and clumsy. It seemed like the prisoners there all looked scared by what had just happened. The incident where Ju Yong went rampage again, but Jiam was the only one who looked calm. He opened the book again and wrote several things in the book. Wrote about the absurd situation that is currently happening. The absurd condition of a man in this cell. Suddenly one of the guards called Ju Yong's name. He was called to go out the cell. Because there were visitors who wanted to meet Ju Yong, hearing this he was a little surprised. He and the guards left the cell and were escorted to their destination. He was a little confused, who actually wanted to meet him. His mother couldn't have been, because had run away when she was young, then all relatives are cutting him off. He was still confused and kept thinking about this. The guard immediately opened the door, but Ju Young was a little surprised by this. He was surprised because the person who wanted to meet him was in the prison warden's office. The mysterious person who wanted to meet him was in the room, carrying a stick. When he saw this person, Ju Young felt confused and shocked, as if he couldn't believe that the person who wanted to meet him was person Ju Young hated the most. The person who made his life a mess, and the tragedy that was caused in the past. He looks happy because Ju Young is doing well in this prison. The person he once sent to the hospital. How surprised he was after seeing that person. He is the father of Ju Young, named Cha Gangryong. He still couldn't believe this, even though previously his father was in the hospital, but suddenly he was here. It was truly an unexpected occurrence that he would meet his father at this place. Kwon, the director of juvenile prison, was really enjoying this. He knew that Ju Young was very surprised by this. He told him that his father had been get out from the hospital some time ago. Kwon considers this lucky incident, because he met his father. Even though Ju Young remembered that his father had a small chance. But in fact his father was still in front of him, and his anger gradually arose. For him, it was natural that his son did not believe in his presence until now. Nothing can make him fall. Cha Gangryong, the right hand of the great organization. It looked like they were sitting together, and his father wanted to tell him something. When he first opened his eyes in the hospital, he was reminded of his son. He also became sad when he remembered his son Ju Young. Ju Young was still shocked by his father's unexpected reaction when he met him. It can be seen that his father really cried when he met Ju Young. That he really loves Ju Young until now, when heard that Ju Young was still confused. His crying was very natural, because that's what parents should be like when they haven't seen their child for a long time. But suddenly his father made a statement that made Ju Young completely stunned, that his father was the one who had carried out this plan for Yun. The incident where Yun wanted to visit Ju Young in prison at that time. An incident that made Ju Young very devastated. The incident was planned by his own father, so that Yun experienced bad things. Ju Young's dreams suddenly disappeared. But when that happened, Yun could still control his consciousness. He also saw someone in front of her. She immediately asked the person for help. He begged to be saved at that time. But what Yun saw shocked her. It turns out she saw Ju Young's father. When Yun saw Ju Young's father, he felt that she had seen a ghost. The statement she made in the past, such as it being better not to have a father like him. He would deny that statement, and for him this is what a father does to his son. Maybe for Yun this is not understandable. Because from the beginning Yun didn't have parents. According to his father at that time, Ju Young was to endure and stayed calm. However, in a past incident, his father saw something different from Ju Young. His father also speculated that the girl was the trigger for Ju Young's rampage. So his father tries to erase all the memories of Ju Young and Yun. To remove her from all the things that happen in Ju Young's life. For a better life. But suddenly something unexpected happened. Kwon was seen ordering the guard to stop someone. Seen as a result of his father's actions, Ju Young immediately went on a rampage wanting to beat him up. His anger was no longer contained. But the guards immediately stopped Ju Young's movements using strange weapons. As a result, he was electrocuted all over his body. Electrocuted, causing him to fall to the floor. The guards tried to holding Ju Young's movements using stun guns. Kwon was shocked by Ju Young's actions. He was still trying to resist the impact of the electro attack. His father stood in front of him, hoping that Ju Young would take revenge on him. Take revenge for what he has done to Ju Young and Yun's life. His father also talked about ways for Ju Young to get revenge on him. There are some of our members here in Juvenile. Right now, they have barely tattoos. But some of them will likely become the pillars of the organization in the future. His father also asked for proof from Ju Young, so he could defeat all its members. And control all systems in this juvenile prison. If one day Ju Young climb high and gains recognition, Ju Young might be able to take down his father. Suppress him the second command, and prepare to face the heavenly dragon. Ju Young achieve what his father couldn't accomplish in his lifetime. If he succeeds in doing that, then his father's life will be complete. His father also told Quan to take care of his son here. But suddenly the guards were shocked by what happened. It seems like Ju Young is trying to rise against this incident. Quan was confused about what was happening. His father immediately left the room. Ju Young tried to get up because his father was talking nonsense. Ju Young didn't just let his father go. Because of his actions, Ju Young had to suffer, and Young got bad things. The guards were shocked by what they saw. Likewise with Quan, he looked shocked by that. Because Ju Young's anger could no longer be contained, he immediately attacked his father. His father had gone too far for him, even though it was all just nonsense. He has decided to fight his father, and will continue to take revenge if his father still rises. A strong blow launched from Ju Young's right hand will immediately hit Gangryong. However, suddenly Ju Young's movements were stopped by someone unknown. He also called Ju Young young master. When he grabbed Ju Young's head, not long after, he direct threw Ju Young to the floor hard. The guards who saw the incident could only remain silent and shocked. For the man, this was his job, and just doing his duty. Carrying out duties, to serve his boss. But Ju Young is still trying to get up from that situation. This man was a little surprised because he could still try to get up in a situation like this. This man is the commander of the Heavenly Dragon. He didn't think that Ju Young could still try to get up by relying on his legs. His father immediately spoke to him. That Ju Young must open his eyes wide and look around. There are many members of the Heavenly Dragons around Ju Young, and for him it is impossible for Ju Young to reach his father. Rash action only messed things up. He also told Ju Young that the only way to defeat him was to control this juvenile prison. He who heard this could only exude anger without being able to do anything. His father had high hopes for him, for the next meet in the future. He and the Heavenly Dragon members left there at the same time. Ju Young's body received a lot of damage, as a result of everything that happened, and again he couldn't do anything. He could only vent his frustration without being able to do anything. Returning to the woodworking room, several prisoners were seen working on something. Their Jayam is using his craft to make objects. An instructor told him to rest, because he had already fulfilled today's production quota. The other prisoners admit that Jayam's crafting skills are very good, and they suspect that Jayam used the hammer when beating his bullies. They are mocking Jayam because, defeating his enemy using weapons. Suddenly someone came to the instruction because the work was finished. He put the results of his work on the shelf. Suddenly he heard a loud sound of something falling. It turns out the storage box fell to the floor. Herd instructor was scolding because someone had knocked over the toolbox. When Jayam saw the nails, he seemed to remember something. Suddenly he is approached by another prisoner, and it seems like the prisoner knows Jayam. Apparently he was from middle school when they graduated, and the prisoner's name was Yoon Gun Min. Yoon saw Jayam on the news and ended up here, that's why they meet again. Yoon tells him whether Jayam still remembers him? Of course he still remembers Yoon. He looks happy about it, so there's something Young has been wanting to know from Jayam. About the news when Jayam defeat the 7 people. Something that makes him curious to this day, whether the Jayam defeat those 7 people? He just didn't believe it, that Ma Jayam Taecho Middle School did that. Even though when he was a child, Jayam was an exemplary student. Finally, an instructor stopped their conversation and told them to return to their respective cells. Finally, Yoon returned to his cell and looked forward to the next meeting. Jayam immediately tidied up his craft equipment. But he felt pain around his hand. It turned out that he was holding the wood and nails together, making his hands bleed. The cold of snow at night arrived. It can be seen that they are carrying out their activities as usual. But their Ju Young was still gloomy while thinking about something. Thinking what his father said, about having to take control of the juvenile prison to defeat him. Ju Young, who has a revenge against his own father Gangryong, will do anything to defeat him. But for that, he had to do the first step. Ju Young looked at the situation and conditions in this cell. The condition of the prisoners after being left by the room leader of this cell. He seemed to be planning something. Suddenly there were guards on patrol, the prisoners immediately quieted down. Ju Young looks like he's about to start taking action. He immediately asked something to the guard who was on patrol. They all seemed surprised by Ju Yong's action of asking the guard something. That it's not a big problem. He just asked the guard to deliver him pizza. They seemed confused by Ju Yong's words, that this was a prison. But the guard instead asked him to come out. Seen, he was eating the pizza with gusto. Everyone in the room was seen eating pizza. They enjoyed it because it had been a long time since they had such a delicious meal. They all thanked to Ju Yong. He remembered this again, because Ju Yong was the son of Gangryong, an influential person in this prison, so Ju Yong would get special treatment. He needs to test the limits of what he allowed to do in prison. They were busy eating the pizza, while thinking about the right name for Mr. Ju Yong. While listening to their chatter about his father who was a congressman. But here he has a goal, that he will use anything for revenge. Despite the fact that he is the son of an influential person in this prison, Gangryong. They started talking about Jayam. That their Jayam didn't eat pizza, and they thought that today Jayam was very strange. He's different from his usual day. Jayam seems to be thinking about something, because of the incident when he met a prisoner who knew him a long time ago. Morning arrived, the prisoners began to carry out their usual routine. It looks like Ju Yong and Jayam are involved in the same work project. They do a good job without saying anything. Suddenly someone's voice was heard. There is a prisoner who accidentally drops equipment on Jayam. As a result, many nails fell towards Jayam who was working. He also stopped working because of that. It turned out the prisoner was the same person as yesterday, who dropped the equipment. Seeing what Yoon did intentionally, he looks angry about it. Actually, what is Yoon trying to do to Jayam? It seems like another prisoner has approached Jayam, and it's because of Yoon's recommendation. 3 large people blocked Jayam. It seems like this prisoner wants to make Jayam his underling. They talked about rumors of a bully in the neighborhood which turned out to be just a lie. Then Yoon also provoked these words. That since childhood Jayam and Yoon remember their beautiful moments. He keeps pushing about his childhood memories to Jayam, looking like Yoon wants to trigger something out of him. Suddenly Yoon smacked Jayam's head, the right one has nails in front of it. Nails that seem to have bad memories. Bad memories from school. The moment when he was bullied by school students. Jayam, who in the past at school was bullied. Yoon there was also one of the students who bullied him. Incident taking place in the room, the sound of which cannot even be heard. Jayam at that time could only cry and beg to be let go. Yoon doesn't want to let Jayam go easily. Because something fun is about to start. He starts playing a game, that in the box is Jayam, and there Yoon will hammer nails into the box. Inside he could only be silent and afraid of it. Yoon seemed to be enjoying the game, he continued to hammer the nails into the box. Because of that, Yoon here ensures that Jayam will definitely remember this forever. All of them there started to disturb the comfort of work, and once again bully Jayam. They continue to underestimate Jayam, because the news circulating about him being in prison is just nonsense. He also started carrying several nails in his hands. As if Yoon couldn't believe that Jayam had defeated 7 people. Then suddenly there was a hand that blocked Yoon's plan. Those who saw it were shocked. The act that Yoon doing was thwarted by someone. Ju Yong was also surprised by that. It turns out that Jayam himself failed the action, and here he will show Yoon how to beat someone. Yoon, who saw Jayam's actions, was shocked. While their feud was going on, suddenly the instructor told them that break time was over. Seeing what Jayam did, he immediately became angry and told him to let go. They all ended up leaving, but for them this incident was quite enjoyable. Yoon looks still angry about what Jayam did to him. They both continued their work. Back into the holding cell. It looked like they were arguing about something. After debating, they finally decided to carry out religious activities. But Ju Yong and Jayam were seen just sitting, not following them. He kept thinking about something. At the same time, Ju Yong thanked him. He thanked Jayam, because at that time he had stopped Ju Yong from doing this, otherwise his sentence could have been extended. Jayam was a little confused. Why was he suddenly talking about something like that? Ju-young also revealed that he wanted to get out of here. Someone who defeat his friend. He wanted to meet his father as soon as possible. But Ju-young once told him that his father was not well at the moment, and now for Ju-young this situation has changed. He also thanked Jaehyum again, because there was still hope of getting out of here quickly. He was just silent hearing Ju-young's words. According to Jaehyum, Ju-young is mocking him, because currently his prison sentence is 20 years, but Ju-young doesn't mean that. What is certain that Ju-young will pay for what happened at that time to him? Jaehyum finally understands this. In a workroom, Jaehyum receives the key from someone. The instructions gave him a key, because right now he had to go and have an urgent problem at home. He ordered Jaehyum to clean this room. In front of him now there is work that needs to be done. But he was little thinking about something. When he saw the hammer, a bad memory always flashed in his mind. Bad memory of what Yoon and the hammer did. He always remembered that bad thing throughout his life. He also remembered his childhood. Memories with Yoon when they were still children. Beautiful memories with childhood friends, between Jaehyum and Yoon. It looks like they were good friends at that time and played together. But since he was a teenager, Yoon experienced intimidation from his classmates because behavior makes them strange. Yoon's strange behavior, because he collects insects. They mocked him because he might eat it during break time, but he denied this, and for them it was disgusting. They continued to mock Yoon at that time, but a student watched from afar. It turns out he is Jaehyum. He tells them to stop doing that. Currently Jaehyum is the class president, so they obey his words. They immediately left there, and apologized to Jaehyum for this. He approached Yoon and asked about his condition, then he looked fine. After that, Yoon invited Jaehyum to his house to play. But suddenly another student invited Jaehyum to play a new game together. Finally, Jaehyum, who was then class president, complied with their request to play together, leaving Yoon alone. But at that time he was actually very worried about Yoon. Yoon was alone and had no friends apart from Jaehyum. The next year he was a teenager, still at the same school but in a different class. At that time, Jaehyum heard their conversation about Yoon. Rumors say that Yoon is being bullied. Then he was shocked when someone said that Yoon had been taken to the warehouse. When Jaehyum heard that, without thinking, he immediately went to Yoon to go to the warehouse. He kept running until he was tired. Finally he made it to the warehouse and feeling tired, then immediately opened the door. When he opened the warehouse door, he saw many students already in the room. It seemed like they had been waiting for Jaehyum to arrive there. Suddenly he heard a voice that made him shocked, and he seemed to recognize the voice. It turns out Yoon was the one who made the voice, can see he was behind Jaehyum and started to greet him. While he was behind, suddenly he immediately pushed Jaehyum's body into the warehouse. He was shocked by the action Yoon did to him. At that time, Jaehyum didn't understand and was confused by Yoon's actions in doing this to him. After successfully putting him into the warehouse, Yoon immediately locked the warehouse door. It looks like this is the plan of the delinquent students. They made a plan to trap Jaehyum with Yoon as the bait. They did that because this was a condition for Yoon to join their fam, so Yoon had to do what the delinquent student said. The path he had taken had deviated. It could be seen that he was also enjoying this game. While inside, Jaehyum hears Yoon's words about insects. Saying that now he would peel the insect, and Yoon started to take out a hammer. The past was very scary. Even when the cocoon had become a butterfly, it did not completely fly freely but could encounter obstacles. Looks like someone is already in front of Jaehyum. This butterfly situation is the same as himself, an obstacle that can't make it fly high. Then it all happened because of Jaehyum's actions. It turned out that Yoon was already in front of him. But there Jaehyum doesn't understand the unreasonable words about him. Yoon started to explain. At that time Jaehyum only pretended to be nice to him, and slowly moved away from him because Jaehyum already had lots of friends. Yoon knows all that. At that time Jaehyum had become a butterfly who could fly high without obstacles. Until in the end he thought, it was absolutely impossible for him to become a butterfly that could fly high like him. Yoon also blames Jaehyum for him becoming like this. Yoon was the only one experiencing crushing down. Hearing this he was shocked. Until then he heard that Jaehyum had defeated 7 people. According to Yoon, this incident was karma for him. But at the same time, Jaehyun was furious when he heard the words that came out of Yoon's mouth. He started to return what he said, that because of Yoon's actions, Jaehyun ended up here. The action he did to him in the past made Jaehyun end up here. Yoon is happy to hear that, because he has succeeded in ruining Jaehyun's life. But suddenly Yoon's people were there, and immediately cornered Jaehyun. They gave appreciation to Yoon because at that time he had buy off instructor Misu. Even Jaehyun, who heard this, immediately shocked. It looks like he has other plans after this. Yoon started to talk about insects. About the insect he was going to peel, a locker was seen in front of Jaehyun. It seemed like the incident like before would happen again. Jaehyun was shocked when there was a locker in front of him, as if he already knew what would happen. He began to try break loose himself from the incident. Yoon is really looking forward to something like this happening again. He started putting Jaehyun into the locker. And starts locking it from the outside, while blaming Jaehyun for his past actions, which made Yoon who he is now. From inside he continued to break the locker, and said to Yoon, why did he do this to him? For Yoon, this is a gift for him. It looks like there are insects on Jaehyun's feet. It turned out that there were lots of insects in the locker. They were looking forward to the screams that would come out of Jaehyun at the locker. Yoon really enjoyed this game, and wanted to know what happened immediately. But he was confused because there was still no hurt of Jaehyun screaming from inside the locker. It looks like Jaehyun is holding back the scream. They praised him a little for holding that. This man began to ask Yoon that he should apologize after this, because in fact Jaehyun was a cruel man. But he did not listen to what the man said, because it was of nonsense. According to him, Yoon has gone very crazy. But for him this was not much, because he still had other plan. A plan that would definitely make him scream out loud. Suddenly someone came to that place. Turns out it was Ju Young, asking them what was doing here. They were shocked and confused by what Ju Young was doing here. He then asked them again how to make him scream. Suddenly, without thinking, Ju Young immediately started his action against one of them. But this man tried to attack Ju Young with his punches. The man was hit by a strong kick right in the face. Ju Young's kick was so strong that it sent the man flying into the locker. Those who saw Ju Young's action just remained silent in shock. The locker door was slightly damaged because of this, then Jaehyun started peeking out of it. When he looked, it turned out that it was Ju Young's doing, and he came here to pay a debt. Repaying the debt of the past, and now he will beat this guy for Jaehyun. Previously in prison, they all asked where someone was. Asked where Jaehyun, he's not in prison at that time, but one of them found out that Jaehyun had been called by the supervisor to the woodworking. He was asked by the supervisor to clean the room, but Jaehyun had been gone too late. Ju Young, who heard their conversation, got up and took the initiative to look for him. He immediately asked the warden guarding the room. The warden responded, apparently it was Ju Young who was speaking to him again. Those who saw this immediately thought that Ju Young would order pizza again. But that wasn't what he wanted, but to open the door of this prison. Those who heard this were shocked and confused. The guard was also confused by Ju Young's request to open the door. Back to the time when Jaehyun was tortured, that now Ju Young will pay debt. He will beat up everyone who hurts Jaehyun right now. It looks like 2 of them have lost, and there are still 2 more people, Yoon and his friend. This person apparently recognized Ju Young and wanted to ask him something. Asking that Ju Young was the one who did the trouble last time. Yoon finally finds out that when it happened last time in the field, he also saw with Jaehyun. Even though when Jaehyun was in this place at the beginning, Yoon knew that Jaehyun was alone, but because Ju Young came here, he knew. That to Yoon the 2 of them looked close. He also mocking Jaehyun in a loud voice, so that he can be heard, he as friends can rely on. The 2 of them continued to mock Jaehyun with loud voices, and it looked like this man was ready to fight. Ju Young, who heard the 2 of them continuing to talk, just remained silent. Finally, this man launched a surprise attack in the form of a punch at him. Ju Young immediately reacted to this, by making a movement. Suddenly this man felt like he was floating in the air. Ju Young quickly managed to anticipate the big man's attack, grabbed his opponent by slamming him to the ground. Slammed him down, until his head hit the floor. Ju-young successful to defeat the big man with one attack. As a result of the attack, the man immediately couldn't move at all. Yoon, who saw this, looked scared. Ju-young also asks Yoon why he did this to Jaehyung. That this was too much for him. But he seemed to think this was normal, and not much. He will also tell Ju-young for doing this to Jaehyung. Because of him, Yoon experienced pain throughout his life. Like pretending to be his friend, and pretending to care about him. Forced to drag himself into the underworld. Seeing Yoon behave like that, it seems like he's fallen too deep. It turned out that the big man could still stand, and now he was behind Ju-young, and immediately did something. He immediately grabbed Ju-young's head tightly. He looked like was in pain, and having difficulty getting out of the situation. Yoon, who saw this, told his friend to break him immediately. This big man continued to grip Ju-young tightly, limiting his movement and causing his stamina to run out quickly. Ju-young also admitted that man grip was very strong, and could harm him. But there he finally found a way to get out of the situation, by breaking the man's finger. But at the same time Yoon helped, by stabbing the screwdriver at Ju-young. Yoon also carried out resistance, so that Ju-young experienced a state of urgency. The big man praises Yoon, that he has done a great job. Ju-young finally reached his limit. Suddenly someone told him to let go. It turns out it was Jaehyung's doing. Now he put a chain around the big man's neck. Yoon, who saw that, was very shocked. He doesn't know how Jaehyung managed to get out of the locker. This happened because of Ju-young's attack, which damaged the locker door. Finally, when the situation became careless, Ju-young immediately kicked Yoon hard. He managed to escape from the big man's grip and immediately kicked Yoon until he fell. That it almost broke him. The big man's neck was wrapped around the chain, so he felt pain. Jaehyung continues to pull the chain strongly. But suddenly Yoon got up, and instead supported what Jaehyung was doing. He kept doing it without stopping at all. Ju-young saw Jaehyung's anger as if it was too much. He then continued to pull the chain, using his foot as a trigger. It seemed like the big man had reached his limit. Blood also flowed down the chain. Jaehyung tells the big man to relax his grip, if he doesn't want to defeat. Finally the big man had reached his limit. Jaehyung manages to defeat him by wrapping the chain around his neck, thus making the man lose. He seemed exhausted by that. Ju-young could only remain silent when the man was defeated by Jaehyung. He immediately directed his gaze at Yoon. Then started approaching him. Yoon, who saw Jaehyung approaching him, started to get scared and reasoned that he was the victim. That he was currently only doing self-defense. He couldn't be wrong about that. But Jaehyung, with his anger, doesn't seem to believe Yoon's words. He fell because of the reaction. At the same time, Yoon immediately bowed down and apologized to him for having done badly. He admits his mistake, and asks Jaehyung for forgiveness. He also admitted that he was just a loser and an idiot. Here, Jaehyung also emphasizes that all this time he has never led Yoon down a bad path. He was a little surprised about that. The fact is that Yoon just had a selfish delusion and ruined Jaehyung's life. Previously defeat 7 people, Jaehyung is currently also thinking the same thing about Yoon. But he couldn't possibly do the same to Yoon, because Jaehyung still considered him a friend. From childhood until now, Jaehyung always considers Yoon a friend. He was finally surprised by Jaehyung's current statement. Friends where they always played together in childhood. But for him, Jaehyung's statement was useless. He also showed his true nature. In his mind he still wanted to destroy Jaehyung, but seen from hindsight a surprise attack was carried out. The kick attack sent Yoon flying far forward. He immediately lost in one attack. Ju-young had kicked Yoon, because he had caused him pain. Jaehyung accepts this incident. After the fight, Ju-young still felt pain in his stomach from the stabbing. Jaehyung calls Ju-young. He wanted to thank him for saving him from this situation. He also received thanks from Jaehyung. Because of this he only paid his debt. But suddenly he felt something. Someone unknown suddenly appeared in behind of Ju-young, and he approached Yoon. He was shocked by this, and wondered who exactly was that person. He approached Yoon, because at that time he didn't have permission to left the room, and because of that this person became afraid. Yoon at that time was still losing consciousness. He immediately punched Yoon in the face, because he was not in prison, there were cockroaches running around. He was hit hard, for reasons that are not clear, which made him scared when he met a cockroach in prison. Ju-young and Jaehyun could only remain silent when they saw Yoon being brutally beaten. He also looked battered, the result of the actions an unknown person. And now there was a lot of blood on his face. He immediately cleaned the blood, because he really didn't like being dirty. Suddenly the man pulled Ju-young's clothes, and this shocked him. He washed his face with the clothes Ju-young was wearing. He who saw this was confused and did nothing. With a mocking face, he had already cleaned the blood on his face. Previously in prison, they all asked where someone was. Asked where Jaehyun, he's not in prison at that time, but one of them found out that Jaehyun had been called by the supervisor to the woodworking. He was asked by the supervisor to clean the room, but Jaehyun had been gone too late. Ju-young, who heard their conversation, got up and took the initiative to look for him. He immediately asked the warden guarding the room. The warden responded, apparently it was Ju-young who was speaking to him again. Those who saw this immediately thought that Ju-young would order pizza again. But that wasn't what he wanted, but to open the door of this prison. Those who heard this were shocked and confused. The guard was also confused by Ju-young's request to open the door. Back to the time when Jaehyun was tortured, that now Ju-young will pay debt. He will beat up everyone who hurts Jaehyun right now. It looks like 2 of them have lost, and there are still 2 more people, Yoon and his friend. This person apparently recognized Ju-young and wanted to ask him something. Asking that Ju-young was the one who did the trouble last time. Yoon finally finds out that when it happened last time in the field, he also saw with Jaehyun. Even though when Jaehyun was in this place at the beginning, Yoon knew that Jaehyun was alone, but because Ju-young came here, he knew. That to Yoon the 2 of them looked close. He also mocking Jaehyun in a loud voice, so that he can be heard, he as friends can rely on. The 2 of them continued to mock Jaehyun with loud voices, and it looked like this man was ready to fight. Ju-young, who heard the 2 of them continuing to talk, just remained silent. Finally, this man launched a surprise attack in the form of a punch at him. Ju-young immediately reacted to this, by making a movement. Suddenly this man felt like he was floating in the air. Ju-young quickly managed to anticipate the big man's attack, grabbed his opponent by slamming him to the ground. Slammed him down, until his head hit the floor. Ju-young successful to defeat the big man with 1 attack. As a result of the attack, the man immediately couldn't move at all. Yoon who saw this looked scared. Ju-young also asks Yoon why he did this to Jaehyun. That this was too much for him. But he seemed to think this was normal, and not much. He will also tell Ju-young for doing this to Jaehyun. Because of him, Yoon experienced pain throughout his life. Like pretending to be his friend, and pretending to care about him. Forced to drag himself into the underworld. Seeing Yoon behave like that, it seems like he's fallen too deep. It turned out that the big man could still stand, and now he was behind Ju-young, and immediately did something. He immediately grabbed Ju-young's head tightly. He looked like was in pain, and having difficulty getting out of the situation. Yoon, who saw this, told his friend to break him immediately. This big man continued to grip Ju-young tightly, limiting his movement and causing his stamina to run out quickly. Ju-young also admitted that man grip was very strong, and could harm him. But there he finally found a way to get out of the situation, by breaking the man's finger. But at the same time Yoon helped, by stabbing the screwdriver at Ju-young. Yoon also carried out resistance, so that Ju-young experienced a state of urgency. The big man praises Yoon, that he has done a great job. Ju-young finally reached his limit. Suddenly someone told him to let go. It turns out it was Jaehyun's doing, now he put a chain around the big man's neck. Yoon who saw that was very shocked. He doesn't know how Jaehyun managed to get out of the locker. This happened because of Ju-young's attack which damaged the locker door. Finally, when the situation became careless, Ju-young immediately kicked Yoon hard. He managed to escape from the big man's grip and immediately kicked Yoon until he fell. That it almost broke him. The big man's neck was wrapped around the chain, so he felt pain. Jayam continues to pull the chain strongly. But suddenly Yoon got up, and instead supported what Jayam was doing. He kept doing it without stopping at all. Ju-young saw Jayam's anger as if it was too much. He then continued to pull the chain, using his foot as a trigger. It seemed like the big man had reached his limit. Blood also flowed down the chain. Jayam tells the big man to relax his grip, if he doesn't want to defeat. Finally the big man had reached his limit. Jayam manages to defeat him by wrapping the chain around his neck, thus making the man lose. He seemed exhausted by that. Ju-young could only remain silent when the man was defeated by Jayam. He immediately directed his gaze at Yoon. Then started approaching him. Yoon, who saw Jayam approaching him, started to get scared and reasoned that he was the victim. That he was currently only doing self-defense, he couldn't be wrong about that. But Jayam, with his anger, doesn't seem to believe Yoon's words. He fell because of the reaction. At the same time, Yoon immediately bowed down and apologized to him for having done badly. He admits his mistake, and asks Jayam for forgiveness. He also admitted that he was just a loser and an idiot. Here, Jayam also emphasizes that all this time he has never led Yoon down a bad path. He was a little surprised about that. The fact is that Yoon just had a selfish delusion and ruined Jayam's life. Previously defeat 7 people, Jayam is currently also thinking the same thing about Yoon. But he couldn't possibly do the same to Yoon, because Jayam still considered him a friend. From childhood until now, Jayam always considers Yoon a friend. He was finally surprised by Jayam's current statement. Friends where they always played together in childhood. But for him, Jayam's statement was useless, he also showed his true nature. In his mind he still wanted to destroy Jayam, but seen from hindsight a surprise attack was carried out. The kick attack sent Yoon flying far forward. He immediately lost in one attack. Ju-young had kicked Yoon, because he had caused him pain. Jayam accepts this incident. After the fight, Ju-young still felt pain in his stomach from the stabbing. Jayam calls Ju-young. He wanted to thank him for saving him from this situation. He also received thanks from Jayam, because of this he only paid his debt. But suddenly he felt something. Someone unknown suddenly appeared in behind of Ju-young, and he approached Yoon. He was shocked by this, and wondered who exactly was that person. He approached Yoon, because at that time he didn't have permission to left the room, and because of that this person became afraid. Yoon at that time was still losing consciousness. He immediately punched Yoon in the face, because he was not in prison, there were cockroaches running around. He was hit hard, for reasons that are not clear, which made him scared when he met a cockroach in prison. Ju-young and Jayam could only remain silent when they saw Yoon being brutally beaten. He also looked battered, the result of the actions an unknown person. And now there was a lot of blood on his face. He immediately cleaned the blood, because he really didn't like being dirty. Suddenly the man pulled Ju-young's clothes, and this shocked him. He washed his face with the clothes Ju-young was wearing. He who saw this was confused and did nothing. With a mocking face, he had already cleaned the blood on his face. With a mocking face, the man spoke to Ju-young about whether his face was clean or not. The situation there became a little tense. He was confused by the statement this man made regarding facial cleanliness. This man was shocked, because his face was now said to be dirty by Ju-young. Jayam, who heard Ju-young say that, was also shocked. It looks like this man is angry too. He immediately attacked Ju-young. His hand was pointing in front of Ju-young. Suddenly one of the supervisors came and told them to go back to the cell when the work was finished. But at the same time he was confused about what this man was doing. Regarding the number 7199. This man kept seeing the number 7199 on Ju-young's clothes. It seemed like he was memorizing the number, so that if he met again he would remember it. The afternoon arrived, during free time. Ju-young here is sitting, and talking about them. Can see they were all in the same prison as Ju-young, sitting there at the same time. This person, Na-min already thinks that Ju-young is currently strong. Then they started talking about the group of people in the field, because one of them is strong. Na-min also reasoned, if he was with Ju-young and Jiam then no one would ask him to fight. But he didn't seem to care about that. What he was thinking about right now was something important. A blue dragon embroidered with red flowers, and commonly known as red flower dragon. He has to find the person with that tattoo image. He continued to look at everyone in the field, with the same characteristics. Then saw a group of prisoners there, but it wasn't them. But Na-min also knew that Ju-young had been looking for someone. He offered himself, so he could find information about the person Ju-young was looking for. He explained to Na-min that the person Ju-young was looking for had a tattoo. That what he was looking for someone who had tattoos and one of the worst. Free time ended, they all went back to prison. It looks like they are watching the news on television. News about crime among students never stops. Ju-young felt annoyed when he heard the news, saying things about students who committed crimes. He knew those words shouldn't have come out of his mouth, because the majority of the prison's contents were students who had committed crimes. Here, Na-min explains that not everyone here is always bad. He told how his life ended here. At that time a lunatic, the son of a local congressman, had shown himself. One of them was seen ordering food at a taekbaki food stall. He immediately tried the food. After eating it, an unpleasant expression appears on his face, indicating that this food is not delicious. The son of the local congressman immediately brutally destroyed the food stall. A food stall owned by a humble family. Suddenly someone came to stop them. It turns out that person is Na-min, the leader of the taekbaki enthusiasts. A fight broke out, and Na-min managed to beat them all. That's why he ended here, because the son used congressman father influence. But they suspected that Na-min was lying again. They all told Ju-young that Na-min's story was just a lie, and he was already called a liar in prison here. But he denied that he had lied, and proudly told it. To him the story sounded fiction, but even though it was fiction, Na-min's actions in the story were true. He was surprised to hear that from Ju-young. Little by little his life of bullying seemed to almost disappear. Ju-young's words made him a little comfortable. For Na-min, Ju-young can express whatever it is correctly. If he can become Ju-young's right arm, then his life here will be peaceful. Peaceful like this plant grows when spring arrives. He was enthusiastic and did garden work well. While Na-min was digging, suddenly the sand he dug hit someone in the face. The prisoner who got sand on his face was suddenly shocked. It turns out that the prisoner is the man who had trouble with Ju-young in the past. Na-min, who saw this, was immediately shocked and frightened. And he seemed to remember an incident in the past that traumatized him. The incident that happened to him was bullying, which was so serious, it was difficult for him to forget. The man who made him like that was now in front of him. With a scared face, now Na-min meets again with the man who made bad things in the past. It turns out he is the ex-room leader of Na-min. To him that man is like a devil with mental health issues. It looked like the man was very angry about this incident, and Na-min tried to apologize to him. He was really angry, and told Na-min to clean his face. He, with a frightened face, immediately complied with his request. He immediately took the pesticide liquid. It turns out the pesticide was actually sprayed on Na-min's face. When he was sprayed with the liquid, he immediately felt pain in his eyes. Na-min immediately rubbed his eyes in the sand, because of the pain. When it was done, this man seemed want talk to Na-min. The prisoner spoke about the number 7199, which suddenly shocked him. The man kept talking about the number 7199, and that made him even more afraid. This man knows that the number 7199 is in the same cell as Na-min. He remembered that the number 7199 belonged to Ju-young. With the nature of a madman, he looks for Ju-young because he thinks his face is dirty. The man kept talking about his dirty face, and it made Na-min confused. Then this man asked Na-min to go together. He immediately thought of the worst thing. Go together to Ju-young and show what happened. It looks like this man has a tattoo. Afternoon in prison. Ju-young is doing his routine with push-ups. He was also confused about finding prisoners with tattoo characteristics. a tattoo that annoyed him, with a special image just like his father's. When he push up, someone approaches Ju Yong. Turns out he was Na Min, who praised Ju Yong's muscles. He immediately brought grape juice to give to Ju Yong. He was grateful, and was going to drink it. But here he knew that there was something strange in this grape juice. Ju Yong immediately realized that this was very dangerous if drunk. Something dangerous as the smell of pesticides. Ju Yong, with an angry face, talked to Na Min. Why did he put pesticide liquid in this grape juice? In the past, he had received bad treatment from that person. It turned out that there were already many other prisoners around him. This happened because of the actions of this crazy prisoner, and blamed it on Na Min. Blamed him because that person's face was dirty because of Na Min's. He was now truly scared and in danger. This crazy person immediately gave Na Min with disinfectant liquid. That was done successfully. This crazy person seems confused and looks guilty. As a result of his actions, Na Min experienced bad things. But what he was worried about, not Na Min, but rather that the floor of the place would become dirty. Back into the room now, Ju Yong now looks angry. He was angry because smelled pesticide. Smelled the smell of pesticides in the grape juice they were given. Na Min, who gave him the drink, seemed to be avoiding his mistake, because he bought it himself. But the prisoners here asked him to prove this. Ju Yong was confused, why suddenly Na Min gave him a drink. He think that now Ju Yong had suspected him. He thought that the past incident, it was purely from his nature. Suddenly Ju Yong immediately drank the grape juice. Na Min was shocked by this. He felt relieved after drinking, and thanked Na Min. After that, he ordered all the prisoners to clean the room tomorrow. Here he thinks a little. That he did not enter any disinfectant liquid into the grape juice drink given to Ju Yong. Ju Yong's words from the other day gave him a little doubt about doing bad things to Ju Yong. He couldn't possibly do that to him. The prisoners were getting ready to sleep. Ju Yong is drawing a tattoo that has been annoying his life. Na Min approached him and asked to chat. Red flower dragon, it's a blue dragon adorned with red flower. Actually, right now, Na Min is observing Ju Yong's behavior patterns. But he seemed a little bothered by it. Na Min also told Ju Yong that currently he was a little curious about something. Why did he believe it, when the drink had no effect? Ju Yong knows that he thought Na Min was liar at first. But here he doesn't think like that, and thinks that Na Min is a little smart. Will not make Ju Yong an enemy, with stupid lies. He also told Na Min to sleep, because he was going to turn off the room lights. He immediately thinks about the tattoo image of Ju Yong. He seemed amazed by the praise smart guy he received from Ju Yong. The next day, the guards were monitoring the work of the prisoners. It can be seen that they are now cleaning the corridors of each room. But somewhere, an unpleasant incident happened. Here, Na Min is being intimidated by the crazy prisoner, who doesn't give disinfectant to Ju Yong. He mentioned that Na Min is not backing him now. He also gave a different reason, that at that time Ju Yong didn't really call him dirty. He also told the crazy prisoner that Ju Yong had entrusted an apology to Na Min, but this only made him even angrier because he had lied. He immediately hit Na Min hard. Hit him until he fell backwards. He didn't believe Na Min or Ju Yong's words at all. He continued to beat Na Min brutally. Until he reaches a bad state. Suddenly the person released disinfectant liquid, don't know what he was doing. He seems to be planning to give the disinfectant to Na Min, but before that, he continued to corner Na Min in a bad condition. It looked like he couldn't do anything, and hoped someone would help him. He was truly at a disadvantage. Suddenly someone was in the toilet and asked, "What are they doing?" This man was immediately shocked when he saw that person. It turned out that the person who came to the toilet was Ju Yong. Na Min also seemed to be asking him for help. He knew that Ju Yong had arrived too late. In the situation before the incident, Ju Yong was sweeping the corridor area. There, Na Min asked Ju Yong for something. That someone was being threatened Na Min, and ordered to feed Ju Yong to be disinfected. But Na Min was determined not to obey that person's words. He couldn't betray his close friend at this time and throw the disinfectant fluid. Even though the consequences would be bad, he was still determined not to commit such a bad act. But there he told that Tattoo Juyong had been looking for was the man who threatened him. As soon he heard Na Min's words, he was immediately shocked. Then Na Min, with a happy mood, immediately left Juyong. Juyong started to approach the person. He who saw Juyong approaching him was a little confused. He immediately cleaned his hands on the prisoner's clothes. Because what Juyong did was dirty, with a crazy reaction, he started babbling incoherent things. Suddenly Juyong immediately pulled the man's shirt strongly, and with his strength directly slammed the tall man strongly onto the floor. A loud blow occurred as a result of this. The tattooed man with the same characteristics as Juyong was looking for finally lost in one attack. Juyong managed to defeat one of the people he had been targeting. Na Min was finally saved from this incident. Now was the time for him to interrogate the man. He will interrogate the whereabouts of people with the same characteristics in this prison. He will do it without mercy. It looks like the person didn't react after the slamming from Juyong. He also kept asking that person questions about the red flower tattoo. Instead of answering Juyong's questions, the prisoner started talking nonsense about cleanliness. Suddenly the man got up and tried to attack Juyong. He also saw the direction of the blow clearly to his face. But Juyong managed to counter the punches launched by the man easily. The blows aimed at him didn't work at all. Na Min, who saw Juyong doing this to that man, felt relieved, and he was not wrong to be on his side. That man doesn't seem to have a chance to beat Juyong, and he keeps saying strange things. In the end he had no other choice but to do dirty things like this. He will try the shock therapy method. That man who highly valued cleanliness finally expressed fear. He immediately remembered the past. The day he was opening his locker. When he opened it, it turned out that there were lots of dirty things coming out of his locker. At the same time, that man was shocked by the presence of someone behind him and threatening him. The mysterious man immediately dropped him to the floor. They were actually MMA fighters, and this mysterious man was talking to him about this man who couldn't grapple because of his pathology. He came here to confirm this, and it turned out that were true. This MMA fighter also complained about fighting with this person. Complained that this person had used dirty means when fighting with him. Dirty way. When the crazy man was already in a locked state, he actually vomited something from his mouth, so it hit the MMA fighter. This crazy man, who saw himself being offered dirty things from that person, felt uncomfortable. He started to get angry about it. Suddenly he managed to get out of that condition and doing counterattack. Juyong also did the same thing. He used the same technique when he was locked. Juyong couldn't dodge the counterattack. And now the situation has reversed. Now Juyong has been cornered by the man. Now the situation has turned around. He also started using MMA techniques to lock Juyong's movements. He also felt pain about it. Juyong couldn't do anything, and it seemed like that man was going to do something. He started holding both of Juyong's hands. Na Min can only watch from a distance, don't do anything. There he hesitated when he wanted to save Juyong, but if he didn't, the situation would get worse. Na Min was shocked by what was done to the Juyong. It looked like he was going to do something beyond expectations. At the same time, he remembered an incident similar to this. An incident where in the past, his father had done that harshly. Where it was not a father's hug, but a hug to teach Juyong to fight. Finally, he immediately did something to get out of this situation. Juyong began to grip the prisoner's wrist strongly. He was in pain about it. Because his father used to teach him how to fight, so he was able to turn things around. Juyong's grapple attack was seen, causing the prisoner's hand to feel pain. He couldn't move from here either, and now felt the pain of that. Juyong continued to urge him by attacking the prisoner's hand strongly. Until finally his hand received a lot of damage from Juyong's grapple. The prisoner's back also received quite a bit of damage. He screamed because he felt the pain from what he received. But he still tried to attack Juyong. But the attack seemed unable to reach. He also thought that it was useless. Now this man has really lost to Ju Yong. In a desperate position, Ju Yong managed to change this situation. Can be seen that the situation in the corridor is still observed to be safe. But not for this man. There, Na-min started tying and gagged the man's mouth. The two of them will immediately do something to the man. The two of them will do shock therapy which traumatizes this man. This man was very shocked when this incident happened. Ju Yong will do crazy things to this crazy man. They will immediately do something disgusting to that person. Na-min made sure that this guy's mouth was on target. Ju Yong also prepared for this right. Finally, because this man was afraid of this, he started to talk. They both didn't do that, to tell this man to say. Ju Yong wants to know from this man about the Heavenly Dragon. That in the past when he first joined Heavenly Dragon. When he got the dragon tattoo. That currently a large group wants to accept minors. The dragon represents power and strength, the flower represents vitality and liveliness. No matter how beautifully flower blooms, to wither and fall to the ground, the Heavenly Dragon is looking for the next generation. Full potential power that adults don't have, depending on the situation they encounter or the experiences they face, that they can grow explosively. So the group quickly recruits young talent, and nurtures them in its garden. Then the little seedlings that grow come into bloom. It seems that the man has told the truth about the Heavenly Dragon. He asked to be released from this situation. Here Ju Yong also thought, because of that, his father used to treat him very harshly. Raised him in a situation where he would train him. Since he was very young. His father keeps him bloom, faster than anybody else. Na-min was a little confused by Ju Yong who was in a daze, and immediately called him. But this man was a little confused because Ju Yong was curious about his group. He immediately guessed that Ju Yong seemed to want to join the Heavenly Dragon group. But this man will not recommend Ju Yong to the Heavenly Dragon group. It seemed like that statement really annoyed him. He immediately grabbed the man's neck. And put a little strength into his grip, which scared the man. He had truly said everything he knew. Ju Yong looks ready to hit the man. He immediately punched the man with his right hand. He did this because he felt something damn. In the lobby they are still cleaning the place. Ju Yong was also seen cleaning the place, after doing what he did. But suddenly Na-min came bringing a cleaner. He was confused as to why Na-min acting like this. He immediately thanked Ju Yong. Because he had defeated the man, so Na-min could sleep soundly. But Ju Yong was a little confused about this. An incident where Na-min experienced something bad in the past. Normally, humans who swallow this liquid will receive big damage. But in fact it was not for Na-min, and he told him about it. Because at that time he swapped it with water. There, Na-min also wanted to know why Ju Yong was so obsessed with the Heavenly Dragon group. He also told him that now Ju Yong will eliminate the group. That previously the two men who were defeated by Ju Yong were in the same group, and each of them was the room leader. He immediately thought of looking for the current room leader, but Na-min told him not to do that. That since next week, all of the heads gather together for a meeting. Because that day was the day the committee meets up. Ju Yong was confused about the committee, and Na-min tried to tell him. Every quarter, the heads of each room come together for a friendly discussion, or at least that's what it looks like on the surface. But it's actually placed within the person where they talk about various illegal topics. The meaning of illegal topic is discussion about cartels. That's how Na-min explained it to Ju Yong. And Na-min told Ju Yong to be careful, and not to forget anything. That this place is a juvenile prison, the worst criminal in the nation. The most dangerous people are gathered. It looks like many people have gathered in one place. This guy looks like one of the head meetings. One of them has a dragon tattoo. They talk about Ju Yong who has defeated Park Jongchan and guy with OCD. This guy seems want to finish off Ju Yong as soon as possible and put them in their place. This big man also appears to have a Heavenly Dragon tattoo. Someone was seen entering the room. The man immediately took a shovel. It turned out that the person who came into the room was Ju Yong. They are all targets of Ju Yong. They all looked confused by the arrival of that person, because they didn't know that it was Ju Yong. Including one of these men who has a dragon tattoo. Ju Yong immediately approached the man with the tattoo who was the target. He prepared for the fight against the man. But it seems he refuses to fight with Ju Yong. He was confused by the statement that the cell leader can use harshness under the pretext of maintaining order. And Ju Yong is already on the right track in the rules, but he is missing important here. In his fight against the previous room leader, there were likely justifiable reasons to accept those fights. That's right, the rules are called justification. For him, if this fight continues, there is no benefit for him, and he has no justification to respond. Despite that, if Ju Yong insists on swinging his fist recklessly and disturbing the order prison, then the other leader can't leave Ju Yong here safely. Ju Yong was already surrounded by leaders. He tried to stay calm here by not acting rashly, because otherwise it would endanger him. He will be calm, and control his anger here. If not, the chance of him getting out of this prison unscathed and let alone taking control of the place, become very slim. It was a reckless method, but trying to confirm it was a good idea. The man woke up and spoke to Ju Yong, that Ju Yong could not possibly reach him no matter what. He knows that Ju Yong is at hostile towards with the Heavenly Dragon group. He told Ju Yong not to do that, because it was a stupid thing to do when dealing with the Heavenly Dragon. They finally dispersed from there, and Ju Yong was safe from the incident. On the other side, it looks like someone is starting something. They will start the leaders' meeting. This meeting will be different because 3 of them is absent. They are absent because they are currently injured. He deeply regrets this incident. This man knows who caused the 3 people to be injured. All of that was because of Ju Yong's actions. Then now Ju Yong becomes new leader number 36. The people here think that the rumors are true, and do not match their expectations. Here he is thinking about something. That here there are 15 cell leaders gathered. At a glance, Ju Yong did not see any heavenly dragon tattoo at all. Except for this one guy, it looks like he has the tattoo. Then Ju Yong was given the opportunity to speak as the new leader. He also thinks that being a cell leader is totally useless. It seemed like he was waiting for something interesting here. One of them looked angry because of Ju Yong's words. This person also explained the importance of being a cell leader, namely that if there is income source coming in, it will be directly operated by the cell leader. It is also known as shop. A portion of the profits from these shops is handed over to the warden. But one person did not pay part of this quarter's tribute. That person is Park Do-won, a gambling den. While the discussion was going on, one of the leaders talked about a strange rumor going around. That all the high-stakes games in the gambling den, which are supposed to be based on trust and fairness. This person spoke about the fraud to Do-won. They also seem to be at odds with each other. Do-won denied that he had do fraud. And if that happened in his gambling den, Do-won would do something. Ju Yong listened carefully to him. He frees anyone to do anything to him, including defeat him. That night they continued the meeting between leaders. The next day, in another place they were busy playing cards. Here is a place called Gambling Den, Shop Location Auto Repair Shop Vocational Training Center. This person is named Ji Yunho, a gambling den dealer. He said about a very simple game, than a regular house. This is a game that different from any other type of game, a game called Simple Dice. He looks happy playing this game. It turns out that Ju Yong is enjoying the dice game at the gambling den. It seems like he has a plan in this dice game. Plan to make Do-won get out of the rules justification that restrains Ju Yong from fighting him. He was thinking of a good plan in this regard. A good plan for Do-won so that it can be successful. He remembered Do-won's words, to freely do whatever he want to him if there was any fraud. And Ju Yong will enter the gap that has been created. He will do anything to get close to Do-won. Yunho was shocked by Ju Yong's actions. He has found the gap, that inside the dice there is a magnet. Ju Yong has successfully uncovered the fraud in this gambling den. Under strict management and surveillance, the juvenile prison was supposed to function for the rehabilitation of young offenders. This was what the outside world thought of the prison. But after the appointment of Quan Changsik, the 26th warden, the place turned into a crime hotspot. The income sources operated by the cell leaders, known as shops within the prison, sent a part of the profits to the warden. In return, the cell leaders received perks and freedoms far beyond those of regular convicts. That a criminal cartel was being created inside the juvenile detention prison. One of the shops here was gambling den. The prisoners were made to spend money here by playing dice. When the people involved are under pressure because they have run out of money, that's when they appear. They will give money to those in need, with the condition of the guarantee offered by that person. It seems like he's not playing around with his word. Then agreed with the person to lend him money in exchange for an unknown guarantee. Time goes back to when Ju Yong uncovered the fraud in this place. Yunho was confused about what Ju Yong meant by saying there was fraud in this dice game. He also proved that there is a magnet in this dice, so it messes the rules. Those who hear that also seem to be confused about this game, which smells like fraud. Ju Yong also showed a small ball, which contained a magnet. Yunho still denies that it is not true. He argued that it was just a way to maintain the dice center of gravity. He also gave an example by bringing the magnet himself. Ju Yong then brought the small ball closer to the iron magnet. Instead of sticking, the ball fell down. So the conclusion is that the ball does not contain iron or magnets. Then Yunho tried to invite Ju Yong to play again. Do-won just watched them from afar. The game continued, but here Ju Yong seemed to have suffered a loss that was detrimental to him. He was confused about this, even though in his analysis there was a 50% chance of winning. It seems like Ju Yong has run out of money. He also tried to check his pockets, which turned out contain only a crumpled piece of paper. Suddenly there was a loud noise in that place. It turns out that someone was going berserk there, and denounced this dice game as a scam. He went on a rampage and wouldn't spend any more money on this. But suddenly someone stopped his behavior. He immediately hit the person's head hard. It turns out it was Do-won, and he asked for proof that this game was fake. That person can't give any proof, because he only uses feelings. Do-won seemed to forgive the man's actions even though he had done something chaotic without any evidence. The same thing Ju Yong did before. He then released his grip on that man. He also told him not to cause any more trouble in the future and to play by the rules. They also looked calm while playing, when they heard Do-won's words. But Ju Yong felt that there was still something wrong in this place. Back in cell, their Na-min asked Ju Yong about the gambling den. He also told that he had run out of money and did not find any fraud in the dice game. But not for Jaeam and Na-min, they immediately took something out of their pockets. They both took one playing card and one Uno card. Their plan went according to plan, with the action carried out by Ju Yong at that place. When the incident happened, Na-min immediately stole the card there. Jaeam did the same thing. This plan was made by Na-min, and they managed to get two types of materials for evidence. They immediately checked the two cards to see if there was any fraud. But right now there is something that is bothering Ju Yong's mind. At the gambling den, it seems like something bad is happening. It looks like Do-won is doing something bad to that person, because he has spoken of fraud in his place. He really doesn't like that, and will give warnings for this. There, Yunho also apologized to Danhwa for letting Ju Yong cause a fuss at the gambling den. He also explained that it was not Yunho's fault. Danhwa just asked Yunho to do his best for gambling den. But here he knows that in the future Ju Yong will threaten the gambling den business and also himself. And inside the cell, it seems like they've found a little bit of a clue. Na-min can see that. Jaeam and Ju Yong look confused. He also showed the back part of the card. In the regular circular pattern, there are two different sized circle. That it is a marked, all lay people also know, if they look at the back of the card, that this is a fraud. Finally Ju Yong gets enough evidence to expose the gambling den fraud. In the future, if Ju Yong causes trouble again, Do-won will punish him for it. This also applies to Ju Yong, that soon he will reveal all of Do-won's rottenness. On the same day in a different place, prisoner Kim Jong-soo was finally released from juvenile prison. Suddenly he was greeted by a stranger. Jong-soo didn't know that man at all. Then that man talked about gambling to Jong-soo. He also remembered the gambling den, when Jong-soo had difficulty playing because he ran out of money, and Do-won gave him money. And they make an agreement regarding collateral. Collateral regarding Jong-soo's organs. He was surprised by that. There he was picked up by medical personnel. Jong-soo was forced to enter by that man. Previously he met someone in juvenile prison. It turns out that the person is Park Do-won. He was imprisoned for being an organ trafficking agent. That man said it would be dangerous to continue doing this in prison. But Do-won casually replied, it would all be easy if it was solved with money. Then back into the cell, there when Ju-young observed the card, only a slight difference was visible. It seems like the cards Jaeum brought were almost flawless. But Ju-young will immediately attack with the existing evidence. That tonight they will go to the gambling den. In this place, Ju-young will reveal everything. It looks like Yunho has welcomed Ju-young's arrival who wants to play. He will play trump card, and Yunho will host the table. First start a game at the table, then in front of everyone, he expose how this place is rigged. But suddenly Ju-young was shocked when someone approached him. It turns out that person is Do-won. It seems like he wants to play cards with Ju-young. He was still confused and shocked by Do-won's arrival. It looks like he can't wait to start playing. At that moment, Do-won immediately spoke about Ju-young who was looking for members of the Heavenly Dragon. But he did not reveal whether it was actually true. But Do-won wants the truth answer when he wins this game with Ju-young. He didn't have a problem with that and accepted it. The prisoners seemed interested in watching their match since it was first time. But Do-won offered Ju-young what game he wanted. It seems he didn't choose the dice game. Ju-young will choose the trump card game. Yunho also explained the rules of the game to both parties. That in the game have to find the same number. If it is the same, then the player's turn can continue. But if miss, then opponent gets a turn. The key is to remember the position of the card already seen. Ju-young understands this, and it seems he has a plan. If Ju-young knows about the marked cards, then he will win, but if he doesn't know, then he will definitely lose. They also seemed enthusiastic about watching the match between gambling den operator Park Do-won against number 36 cell leader Cha Ju-young. Na-min and Jaeum think this is not a good plan. Their Ju-young seem to be paying attention to all the cards on the table. That the markings on the back of the cards are already gone. Na-min who saw this was surprised, because the marks were so small that he couldn't see them. Not that it was too small, but the markings on the card were completely gone. It looks like Ju-young will get into trouble with this. Do-won already knew about it. He praised the pattern on the card. That gambling den has used this card with high quality. Moreover, they have some more games for beginners. It seems like Do-won already knows all of Ju-young's plans. He knew that they had previously stolen cards from this place. Ju-young was finally confused about what steps to take next. Yunho will also start this game soon. They started to place our money. Do-won will start the round by placing a large money. It seems that Ju-young doesn't have much money. Yunho also explained that it would not be a problem if there was a collateral. He also gave that collateral to Ju-young. He told Ju-young to sign on the paper. It seems there is a price for every use. Ju-young, who saw the collateral, looked confused. The prisoners who saw the guarantee paper began to believe the rumors circulating. Do-won is still waiting for an answer from Ju-young. He also started to provoke Ju-young, who was considered afraid. Jaeum knows that there is a scam in the game, and Ju-young has no chance at all of winning. But Na-min wants Ju-young to quit this game, after knowing the contents of the collateral. Suddenly they were all shocked by what happened. Ju-young seemed to agree to it, and signed it. That he can play without money, if signed this collateral. Na-min and Jaeum see Ju-young's reckless actions, confused by what he did. Do-won, who saw Ju-young's actions, looked confused about what Ju-young was planning to do. He is very determined to win, and will go all in for this game. Under strict management and surveillance, the juvenile prison was supposed to function for the rehabilitation of young offenders. This was what the outside world thought of the prison. But after the appointment of Kwan Chang-sik, the 26th warden, the place turned into a crime hotspot. The income sources operated by the cell leaders, known as shops within the prison, sent a part of the profits to the warden. In return, the cell leaders received perks and freedoms far beyond those of regular convicts. That a criminal cartel was being created inside the juvenile detention prison. One of the shops here was gambling den. The prisoners were made to spend money here by playing dice. When the people involved are under pressure because they have run out of money, that's when they appear. They will give money to those in need, with the condition of the guarantee offered by that person. It seems like he's not playing around with his word. Then agreed with the person to lend him money in exchange for an unknown guarantee. Time goes back to when Ju Young uncovered the fraud in this place. Yunho was confused about what Ju Young meant by saying there was fraud in this dice game. He also proved that there is a magnet in this dice, so it messes the rules. Those who hear that also seem to be confused about this game, which smells like fraud. Ju Young also showed a small ball, which contained a magnet. Yunho still denies that it is not true. He argued that it was just a way to maintain the dice center of gravity. He also gave an example by bringing the magnet himself. Ju Young then brought the small ball closer to the iron magnet. Instead of sticking, the ball fell down. So the conclusion is that the ball does not contain iron or magnets. Then Yunho tried to invite Ju Young to play again. Do-won just watched them from afar. The game continued, but here Ju Young seemed to have suffered a loss that was detrimental to him. He was confused about this, even though in his analysis there was a 50% chance of winning. It seems like Ju Young has run out of money. He also tried to check his pockets, which turned out contain only a crumpled piece of paper. Suddenly there was a loud noise in that place. It turns out that someone was going berserk there, and denounced this dice game as a scam. He went on a rampage and wouldn't spend any more money on this. But suddenly someone stopped his behavior. He immediately hit the person's head hard. It turns out it was Do-won, and he asked for proof that this game was fake. That person can't give any proof, because he only uses feelings. Do-won seemed to forgive the man's actions even though he had done something chaotic without any evidence. The same thing Ju Young did before. He then released his grip on that man. He also told him not to cause any more trouble in the future and to play by the rules. They also looked calm while playing, when they heard Do-won's words. But Ju Young felt that there was still something wrong in this place. Back in cell, their Namin asked Ju Young about the gambling den. He also told that he had run out of money and did not find any fraud in the dice game. But not for Jaeam and Namin, they immediately took something out of their pockets. They both took one playing card and one Uno card. Their plan went according to plan, with the action carried out by Ju Young at that place. When the incident happened, Namin immediately stole the card there. Jaeam did the same thing. This plan was made by Namin, and they managed to get two types of materials for evidence. They immediately checked the two cards to see if there was any fraud. But right now there is something that is bothering Ju Young's mind. At the gambling den, it seems like something bad is happening. It looks like Do-won is doing something bad to that person, because he has spoken of fraud in his place. He really doesn't like that, and will give warnings for this. There, Yunho also apologized to Danhwa for letting Ju Young cause a fuss at the gambling den. He also explained that it was not Yunho's fault. Danhwa just asked Yunho to do his best for gambling den. But here he knows that in the future Ju Young will threaten the gambling den business and also himself. And inside the cell, it seems like they've found a little bit of a clue. Namin can see that. Jaeam and Ju Young look confused. He also showed the back part of the card. In the regular circular pattern, there are two different sized circle. That it is a marked, all laypeople also know, if they look at the back of the card, that this is a fraud. Finally Ju Young gets enough evidence to expose the gambling den fraud. In the future, if Ju Young causes trouble again, Do-won will punish him for it. This also applies to Ju Yong, that soon he will reveal all of Do-won's rottenness. On the same day in a different place, prisoner Kim Jong-soo was finally released from juvenile prison. Suddenly he was greeted by a stranger. Jong-soo didn't know that man at all. Then that man talked about gambling to Jong-soo. He also remembered the gambling den, when Jong-soo had difficulty playing because he ran out of money, and Do-won gave him money. And they make an agreement regarding collateral. Collateral regarding Jong-soo's organs. He was surprised by that. There he was picked up by medical personnel. Jong-soo was forced to enter by that man. Previously he met someone in juvenile prison. It turns out that the person is Park Do-won. He was imprisoned for being an organ trafficking agent. That man said it would be dangerous to continue doing this in prison. But Do-won casually replied, it would all be easy if it was solved with money. Then back into the cell, there when Ju Young observed the card, only a slight difference was visible. It seems like the cards Jaeam brought were almost flawless. But Ju Young will immediately attack with the existing evidence. That tonight they will go to the gambling den. In this place, Ju Young will reveal everything. It looks like Yunho has welcomed Ju Young's arrival who wants to play. He will play trump card, and Yunho will host the table. First start a game at the table, then in front of everyone, he expose how this place is rigged. But suddenly Ju Young was shocked when someone approached him. It turns out that person is Do-won. It seems like he wants to play cards with Ju Young. He was still confused and shocked by Do-won's arrival. It looks like he can't wait to start playing. At that moment, Do-won immediately spoke about Ju Young who was looking for members of the Heavenly Dragon. But he did not reveal whether it was actually true. But Do-won wants the truth answer when he wins this game with Ju Young. He didn't have a problem with that and accepted it. The prisoners seemed interested in watching their match since it was first time. But Do-won offered Ju Young what game he wanted. It seems he didn't choose the dice game. Ju Young will choose the trump card game. Yunho also explained the rules of the game to both parties. That in the game have to find the same number. If it is the same, then the player's turn can continue. But if miss, then opponent gets a turn. The key is to remember the position of the card already seen. Ju Young understands this, and it seems he has a plan. If Ju Young knows about the marked cards, then he will win. But if he doesn't know, then he will definitely lose. They also seemed enthusiastic about watching the match between gambling den operator Park Do-won against number 36 cell leader Cha Ju Young. Na Min and Jaeam think this is not a good plan. Their Ju Young seem to be paying attention to all the cards on the table. That the markings on the back of the cards are already gone. Na Min who saw this was surprised, because the marks were so small that he couldn't see them. Not that it was too small, but the markings on the card were completely gone. It looks like Ju Young will get into trouble with this. Do-won already knew about it. He praised the pattern on the card. That gambling den has used this card with high quality. Moreover, they have some more games for beginners. It seems like Do-won already knows all of Ju Young's plans. He knew that they had previously stolen cards from this place. Ju Young was finally confused about what steps to take next. Yunho will also start this game soon. They started to place our money. Do-won will start the round by placing a large money. It seems that Ju Young doesn't have much money. Yunho also explained that it would not be a problem if there was a collateral. He also gave that collateral to Ju Young. He told Ju Young to sign on the paper. It seems there is a price for every use. Ju Young, who saw the collateral, looked confused. The prisoners who saw the guarantee paper began to believe the rumors circulating. Do-won is still waiting for an answer from Ju Young. He also started to provoke Ju Young, who was considered afraid. Jaeam knows that there is a scam in the game, and Ju Young has no chance at all of winning. But Na Min wants Ju Young to quit this game, after knowing the contents of the collateral. Suddenly they were all shocked by what happened. Ju Young seemed to agree to it, and signed it. That he can play without money, if signed this collateral. Na Min and Jaeam see Ju Young's reckless actions, confused by what he did. Do-won, who saw Ju-young's actions, looked confused about what Ju-young was planning to do. He is very determined to win, and will go all in for this game. Everyone in that place seems silent. But not Do-won, he seems to be enjoying this game that's about to start. They both still seem surprised by Ju-young's decision, with its high risk. They also tried to read what was on Ju-young's mind at the moment. Yunho immediately started this card game, with the goal of matching the same card number. Then the game starts with Ju-young's turn. He started to open the card of his choice. He got the number 8 Tempeh card. And number 9 Red Love card. The number difference when Ju-young chose, and now it was Do-won's turn. He also got the number 9 Black Curly card. Ju-young was surprised by Do-won's second turn. It turned out, he easily got the number 9 Red Love card, and it was the same number. Do-won gets a card with the same number on his first turn. They assumed that was good luck for Do-won. Because of that, he got a second turn. In this second turn, Do-won gets a different card number. For Do-won this is not luck, he tries to arrange the cards in advance with the dealer, and playing game with his memory. There will be no physical evidence or fraud found, it's a very simple and complete scam. Sitting there quietly without knowing anything, and helplessly getting everything taken away. For him, the people trapped here are very pathetic. In the past his father was a hard worker. Because of this, little Do-won really likes his father who is a hard worker and makes a lot of money. He really respected his father hard worker at that time. A man with the most trustworthy back in the world. Day by day Do-won found out that his father did not work for the company. But he is a maniac gambler. He has been making money from gambling. Because of that, Do-won will not follow in his father's footsteps. That he was going to cheat in this game, it looked like he had gotten a card with the same number. Meanwhile Ju-young still hasn't gotten any cards with the same number. They think that this game has ended with Do-won winning. Suddenly Ju-young wanted to show something to Do-won. That this game was a scam, he immediately drew a card. It looks like both cards are the same. Both cards are queens. Finally Ju-young got the same card. When Ju-young gets another turn, he draws the same card again. When have the second turn to get the same card, then it is no longer a luck. They all looked confused, and how many cards did he match? Ju-young continued the turn, he didn't make any mistakes at all. Until the 14th card is drawn. Looks like he will finish this game soon. Here Do-won looks confused, because only he and the dealer were aware about the card placement. He looked at Yunho, that he was the dealer. The previous day, when Yunho finished the event, he saw a mess of paper there. He immediately took it and opened it. He knew that the paper belonged to Ju-young who had dropped it during yesterday's game. When Yunho opened it, it said behind the toilet. Turns out Ju-young called Yunho to be here. He immediately confirmed that there was a trick in their game. But he still denied that statement. Yunho also looked surprised when Ju-young told him the regular card was one with no markings. Ju-young can save Yunho now, as an offer. That currently Yunho is working at a gambling den to pay his debt to Do-won. With the same collateral in return for the money. Ju-young will pay back everything, on the condition that Yunho helps him. But Yunho still doesn't trust Ju-young, and what if something fails? Ju-young knows that Yunho has a large amount of debt, and that wouldn't be enough if Yunho was out of prison. Otherwise bad things will happen, and that's 1 week left. It looks like Yunho agrees, and what does Ju-young want to do? Just lying down and throwing the dice in front of everyone that watching. Then expose the truth of fraudulent gambling. Ju-young looks like he has finished the card game. Do-won who saw his action could only be silent and shocked. Ju-young also explained the method, namely memorizing the entire card layout by working with the dealer. Those who heard Ju-young's words wondered. The dealer, Yunho himself said, that all the games at Gambling Den were scams. All of them who heard this seemed silent. Yunho himself will reveal everything, the method of all games. When they heard the dealer's words, they immediately asked Do-won for responsibility. Do-won still seems to be avoiding this. That what Yunho said was just nonsense and it was not true. While Do-won was defending himself, suddenly an attack came his way. It turned out that Ju-young immediately hit Do-won hard on the table. He also talked about rules justification. At that time, if his gambling den is to be a scam, then they is free to do whatever wants to Do-won. That's what he said himself, and now his gambling den has been proven to be a scam. And now Ju-young will do something bad to Do-won. Do-won was surprised by that. That incident happened. Ju-young had smashed the table into Do-won. It seems like Do-won managed to escape from Ju-young's attack. But a sudden attack came towards Ju-young's face. It turned out, Do-won who had previously managed to dodge, and now he hit Ju-young hard until he bounced far away. He immediately approached Yunho who had betrayed him. Do-won will make Yunho pay for the betrayal he has due. He gripped his neck strongly. One of the dealers was seen taking away evidence. He also knew that one of the dealers was trying to get rid of evidence. Yunho couldn't do anything, and now he was in danger. Do-won immediately slammed Yunho hard down. He knew that someone was coming towards him. It turned out that Ju-young had gotten up, and immediately ran towards Do-won to punch him. Do-won used a cunning method. Just before Ju-young attacked, he threatened to use Yunho as a hostage. Not long after, he immediately jumped. When Ju-young tried to protect Yunho, Do-won suddenly kicked him hard. After knocking Ju-young away, Do-won immediately launched another punch. He continued to hit Ju-young brutally, forcing him into a corner. Those who saw this could only be silent and shocked. But it turns out that what Do-won did was Yunho. Suddenly, a sudden attack in the form of a kick was seen approaching Do-won from behind. Ju-young's hard kick managed to send Do-won flying far forward. He managed to launch a crushing kick and put him ahead. Do-won was lying on the floor, unable to move because he was hit by a strong kick. But he must still get up and fight. It turns out that danger is still approaching Ju-young. Do-won again launched his right punch hard. Ju-young easily managed to avoid Do-won's blow, and he immediately made a counterattack. He threw multiple punches at Do-won, leaving him cornered and motionless. It looks like he received quite a lot of damage, resulting in a lot of injuries. Until finally the final blow was received by Do-won soundly. Ju-young managed to land the final blow. However, Do-won's persistence made him survive. He managed to block Ju-young's hard blow with his face. Na-min doesn't believe that either. Suddenly he slammed his knee into Ju-young's stomach hard. He also received large damage as a result of the attack. When Ju-young was in pain, Do-won was seen immediately throwing his fist. Finally, a hard blow from Do-won succeeded in making Ju-young far away. He managed to survive Ju-young's attack, and now put himself ahead. Ju-young bounced into the car window and broke it. They thought Ju-young had lost this fight. Na-min thinks Ju-young seems to have lost this fight. Do-won explained to them that this was an incident often happened, so what happened was just a rumor. And they can resume activities as usual. But it seems like Ju-young still hasn't given up. He can still get up, and Ju-young still hasn't lost. Na-min who saw it was immediately shocked. Ju-young wants to continue the game again, because this game is not finished yet. Do-won doesn't understand Ju-young's words. Do-won seemed to look panicked and shocked when he saw Ju-young. Ju-young, with a face full of wounds, was still able to get up, and now he will continue the fight. It looked like they were all very surprised. Yunho, who was injured, was grateful that Ju-young could get up. Do-won, who saw Ju-young seriously injured, was still able to stand, amazed by Ju-young's strength. He immediately took the dice to prepare attack. But Ju-young managed to avoid his punch. He immediately grabbed Do-won's hand tightly. After that, he dropped him down, while twisting Do-won's hand. He couldn't move about it either. After slamming him onto the table, Ju-young launched a series of punches at Do-won. He immediately ran out of stamina because of that. But he still didn't give up. He wouldn't just give up. Just like the rolling of the dice. His plans seemed to have disappeared. For Ju-young, Do-won's determination is very strong, just like him, and has a thorough plan. However, luck is not always on anyone's side. He was angry and didn't want to hear Ju-young's chatter. Ju-young powerfully threw a punch with his right hand towards Do-won. He also seemed to have suffered big damage from the attack. They all seemed to be crowding around the scene of the fight. Do-won, with wounds and a scared face, tried to run away because he had given up fighting. What he had to do now was run away as quickly as possible, because he had managed to throw away all the evidence. Suddenly his way was blocked by someone. It turns out that the one blocking Do-won's run is Jaehyum. He immediately hit him with the bag, along with the contents of the evidence of Do-won's guilt. Finally, they all realized that this game was a scam. The dealer who took the evidence away was seen lying down. Jaehyum manages to stop him, and proves everything that this is fraud. Jaehyum's actions are very useful in this regard. They all looked confused, because their money had run out of this game. This is his money. Do-won will not give his money to anyone. The money he earned through his own efforts. Looks like this isn't over yet. Ju-young spills oil on Do-won. They didn't know what he was going to do. Can see fire sparks above Do-won's head. This game is still not over for Ju-young. He had prepared an electric shock for all of this. But Do-won is worried about his money being exposed to oil. He was afraid of what Ju-young would do to him. If even the smallest spark hits the oil, Do-won could be in danger. Ju-young will teach Do-won a lesson for what he has done so far. Na-min and Jaehyum can only listen to Ju-young's words. But an unexpected incident happened. It looks like Do-won has fainted from fear. Finally the fight was won by Ju-young, and the gambling den game was over. Wow! What is this? There was such a gorgeous girl at our school? That's Song Yunha from the first year. She looks even prettier in person. Why would a goddess like her come to this dull second-year floor? Who could she come here to see? Appa, why haven't you replied? Sorry. Is something wrong? You haven't even checked it yet, have you? I got a lot gift vouchers for my birthday last year. It's hard to use them all by myself. Can you help me out a little? I already have plans with Daeun today. I'll help you out next time, sorry Yunha. Yunha then fell silent and didn't say a word. You've been struggling a lot on your own, haven't you? And, you must have felt really lonely, right? I understand too. That feeling of being left alone in the world. You're not alone, Appa. You have me. Yunha, what do you want? But you never replied to any of my letters, did you? I had my reasons. Is something wrong? You're just the same as always. Waiting for you. Hey, Appa. Manager Kim, you haven't eaten yet, right? I heard they're handing out lunchboxes. Let's hurry up and go. I'm so hungry I could die. Oh right. The lunchboxes. It's been ages since we had one. It was great seeing you again, Appa. Yeah, same here. Let's meet outside, in 3 years. She looks happy when she heard that. I will come back next week again. I have to do regular agreed volunteer work, every Sunday at our church. I'm glad we'll get to see each other often. Right? Did everyone enjoy their meal? I'll take care of the cleanup. Trash should be cleaned up by trash. Saint, please rest easy. I'm the real trash here. Quick, hand me the mop. No, please grant me your grace. Still the same, huh? Seeing her act like that with a criminal. She's got a strong stomach. It's disgusting. About that rumor, it seems like it could be true. The rumor, could it really be that? That Song Yoon has been frequenting a motel. The saint is indeed a saint. A holy woman. Lord, I am deeply saddened. I'm so deeply saddened too. Lord, when will this boring time end? Friend, the Lord isn't here. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This means that anyone can be liberated from sin and find salvation through the truth and love of Jesus. Just for today, you all are free. So, shall we all shake it together? Saint. The saint is dancing. I'm dying over here. Hey, should we pretend to go to the bathroom and sneak into the waiting room? What are we going to do there? You'll find out when we go, idiot. Great job, everyone. I can't hear anything over the cheering, sister. Let's pray. Feels like a military performance. Kim Minji is wearing pink. Don't touch me, you crazy. Oh wow. Pink? Of course. Let's see what the colors look like in other places. I can see it. You'll be seeing something else now. Hell. They looked shocked by his sudden appearance. Punches were aimed at them. The 10 Commandments. Commandment 7. Thou shalt not commit voyeurism. Such blasphemous deeds. God will not forgive this. What is this sound? Juyong Appa. What's going on? She looked terrified by what had happened. Seeing them unconscious, she immediately hugged in fear. Were you very surprised? A week later. And so, the Lord forgives the sins of sinners. Donation items storage. Moving donation items is already hard enough. What is this now? Have you finally caught on? It's too late, you idiot. Have you finally caught on? They attacked Juyong simultaneously with knives. Hey, you'll get cursed for this. How could you damage the donation items? You should go take a shower. Just looking at you. It doesn't seem like you're the ringleaders. Juyong quickly finished them off in one attack. Who told you to do this? What was that loud noise just now? What are you doing in the storage room? What is this? Students. Why are you here? Are you saying something terrible has happened to you? That person looked shocked by Yunha's words. That person did it. It looks like she's slandering Juyong. 500,000 won. You're giving it in cash, right? Of course this guy has lots of money. You look even prettier without makeup. I should be thankful to the heavens. Should I explain it to you? Come here and sit down. You? Who are you? An illegal meeting. And it's with the churches. Pastor? Are you threatening me right now? You little punk, acting all tough. Our church elder is at the police station. Will that be alright? Even if such a video of a cult church. Pastors spreads widely. That's the one thing. Don't worry, Pastor. We'll do the settlement for a reasonable amount. On behalf of the heavens. 7199 Cha Juyong, 10 days in solitary confinement. Hey, you. Do you do things like that during the visit of outsiders? I already know that you are receiving special treatment from the chief. However, this time, since it's a matter involving an outsider, solitary confinement is unavoidable. Even that CCTV is being monitored by the Ministry of Justice, so I definitely can't let you out of here. Just understand that. To do such a terrible thing in a place like prison. That person did that. Yunha, why on earth did she do such a thing? In the afternoon volunteer day at the church? In the prison parking lot? It seems that it is also the will of God that we meet again like this. It's been a while, Sister Yunha. I've heard this place is corrupt, but is it really okay for an inmate to be wandering around like this? The wardens here pay the chief a monthly fee, which guarantees them a certain level of freedom, so there's nothing to worry about. Even if that wasn't the case, being with you, sister, would worth every sacrifice. Being here reminds me of those times. The time when we conducted heretical trials together. Although the methods were a bit crude. Namgung Joseph special assault and 12 counts of intimidation. You have always been my reliable supporter. That's why I asked you for help with this matter. Judge Cha Ju-young. No matter how much I think about it, I just don't understand. From the circumstances, it seems like someone tried to set a trap for me. The ones who were trying to threaten me. A fake to buy time. The real goal was to use Yunha to frame me for the attempt of sexual assault. What? That person did it? That person saved me. At the last moment, she changed her mind. Those people over there knocked me down and tried to drag me away to assault me. That person saved me. For now, gather everyone out. Yunha, who on earth did I get used by in that situation? And for what reason did she change her mind at the very last moment and save me? Excuse me, officer. I have a request. What is it? It can't be anything noticeable because of the CCTV. I understand. I'd like you to call someone for me. Sister Yunha, the first day you visited the prison last week. Hiding behind someone else to avoid me, I realized it when I saw you. You have already been captivated by the heretics. That's why I gave you an opportunity. So you could directly judge the heretics with your own hands. But why didn't you do it? The judgment you speak of, Joseph, can we please that stop now? I've done everything you asked even outside the prison, have you forgotten? That I still have those videos in my hands? You've done well up until now, right? All you have to do is continue helping me like you have always done. Then your mother. I'm going to report you. You've committed crimes. Outside that, it seems you've become far more depraved than I expected. Heretic. Don't worry, I'll purify you. This very moment. You can scream as much as you want. Because right now, there's no one around. It's just the two, got it? Can see the bus door moving. He immediately knew that someone had come. She saw who it was. It looks like Cha Ju-young is coming. How did you get here? Getting out of your solitary confinement. Could you wait a moment, please? She couldn't believe it was Ju-young who had come. I still have something I need to finish. Do as you please. I'll also start doing what I need to do right now. Previously, I was hoping if you could call someone for me. Are you getting a private room? I'm jealous. It looks cozy. I want to go there too. I didn't call you here to joke around. You said before that you would help me. So let's join hands. Prove it. Show me how you can help me. Tell me. What do I need to help you with? Everything. Ju-young Appa. Get away from Yunha. Right now. Oh, please don't misunderstand. This is just a religious activity. Hey. I said back off. I told you already. It's just a religious activity, alright? It's difficult for heretics to understand. Ju-young immediately attacked Joseph with his hand without hesitation. Joseph was hit hard by Ju-young. He suffered significant damage. What you did to Yunha is a crime deserving of being torn apart. Ju-young continued to launch blows without mercy. He kept attacking without giving any chances. But he seemed to be standing still and not falling. That's quite a good punch. This is the first time I've seen a punch that targets only the vital points so accurately. Who did you learn it from? None of your fucking business. He attacked again and kicked him in the ribs. I did not learn my skills from humans. What I possess solely has been granted to me by God. Yunha looks worried about Ju-young. Only a blessed body. Heavy blows were launched. Yunha was terrified when she saw Ju-young take a heavy hit. I am the angel of God, tasked with judging heretics. Isn't that true? Sister Yunha. Scene back to the past. Right now, we are forced to live apart because of debt. But someday, please allow us to live together with Mom. Tio think that I'm living apart from my mom because of the debt my father left behind. So, is Mom paying off the debt alone? That's really impressive. We'll pray for Yuna too. Thank you, everyone. Joseph is already planning something there. Sister Song Yunha? Who? I am Namgung Joseph, and I participated in the Bible camp last week. I happened to overhear the unfortunate circumstances of Sister Yunha. I think I can help you solve this. There is a quick way to pay off the debt. What is it? It is truly a gracious act to judge heretics. Surely. It will suit your aptitudes. The heretic who has lured Sister Yunha. He easily lifted Ju Young to start doing something. I will judge you. Joseph prepared to hit Ju Young. But suddenly, someone hit him from behind. He was hit in the back of the head. Stop it. Yunha told Joseph to stop this. But he didn't seem to care. This is all, because of you, Cha Ju Young. He was thrown hard backward. He was thrown so hard that the bus window shattered. She couldn't do anything. This is completely, you've fallen from grace. But don't worry. I will now purify you. But suddenly, he felt strange all over his body. Suddenly. My body isn't listening. And suddenly he coughed up blood. A lot of blood came out of Joseph. What the hell is happening? You said it yourself. An attack that only targets vital points. Even with a blessed body, you can't possibly endure internal injuries, can you? You don't seem to be in a good condition either. Things turned around. This is nothing compared to the pain Yunha has endured. It looks like he's planning something. Prepare something for Joseph immediately. I've decided that people like you, who commit sexual crimes, should be punished physically and chemically. It needs to be completely castrated. Yuna, wait just a little bit. It'll be over soon. That criminal in front of you. I'll make sure you can't do any of your dirty deeds again. This is really frustrating. Shall we end this? Disgusting religious cosplay here? No, the internal damage. Do you still not understand? The more you move, the more damage you will take. They landed blows to each other's faces. The damage I'll receive from your attack will get much greater? Go ahead and check. Then they exchanged blows. The exchange of blows continued. That's impossible. My body can't take it anymore. If it comes to this, I'll use her as bait. You said it was a blessed body you have, but in the end, is this all you can come up with? A hostage situation? It's been a while since I've faced such a size difference. So it took me some time to adjust. But compared to that human's body, yours nothing. Joseph laughed. You're laughing? I have videos of all the crimes I committed with her during that time. Should I send them to her mother? What if she finds out about her beloved daughter, who has been pretending to sell her body, but actually she is a criminal extorting money through blackmail? I'm already looking forward to what kind of expression your mother will make. Go ahead. 5 counts of sexual assault. 9 attempted sexual assaults. 4 counts of sexual harassment. All the crimes you committed, and haven't been revealed yet. I will expose every single one of them. You can't do that. If you're going to threaten me, at least do it properly. A taser gun. Why do you have that? No. What do you plan to do with that? Ju Young fired a taser gun at Joseph, causing him to be electrocuted badly. I already told you I'd make sure you can't do dirty deeds anymore. Good thing you brought it just in case. You have been hit there before, and since it landed exactly there, you probably won't be able to act like a man for the rest of your life. This, what should I call this, castration? Ju Young Appa, are you okay? Sorry, because of me, even you. Is this really the time to worry about me? Why didn't you say anything earlier? That you were being threatened like that. Appa, how did you even come here? It's a habit. Ha! I have something I want to say. When you try to hide it, you have a habit of twisting your hair. I should have picked up on it sooner, I'm sorry. Wait, come here for a second. You've got a cut on your face. It's just a scratch. It's nothing like this. If I put some saliva on it, it'll be fine. You swung an umbrella at that big guy without any fear. From now on, never do anything dangerous again. Got it? Yes. Hearing that from Ju-young, she was very happy. Hey there, young couple. Isn't this a nice picture? How can lonely people live in sorrow? What is know it? You. Why are you suddenly revving the engine? I don't know, just step on any. For all the singles in this world. All couples. It's hellbound. Gangsters use a lot of ways to get rid of dead bodies. They bury them in cement, in the sea, or burn them in the cemetery. They're all significant ways of eliminating traces. We don't need to do that. Ju Kangchan Heavenly Dragon's Operations, Chief Cha Kangryong's right-hand man. The Heavenly Dragon's method is to make sure Reyes is possible at any time when needed. By fresh preservation. Finally, is there something you'd like to say? Did Cha Kangryong order this? You Heavenly Dragon rascals, you didn't want to share the pie, so you totally crushed the Alliance organization. You think you can last long? If you don't stop now, it won't be long before you meet a shitty end. How this ends? You can watch that from there. Yes. Ju Kangchan of the Heavenly Dragon speaking. Is that really true? What is this? What is happening right now? Let's find freedom. If we keep going like this, at this rate, won't this be considered as breaking out? Inertia drift. Brutal driving. By breaking through the wall in front. But the bus stopped there and the wall was not destroyed. Yunha, you okay? I'm fine. Are you out of your mind? We almost got killed. What? I said run. The guards began to approach them. Get out of the bus. The officers left, right? Alright, that's it. Now that huge-ass pervert will take the blame for escaping prison and damaging an external vehicle. What? That's why you did that. With what he did, he can't even use the CCTV to prove his innocence. Perfect, right? Yeah. Perfect. Alright then. Gu Seju, off. Bye-bye. Have fun, you too. You should hurry back. Yunha, the sister must be looking for you. Okay. Wait. I almost forgot the most important thing. I think you should keep this. A small doll hanger was given. This is. Looks like he knows this thing. Wow. Dayan Uni 1-3. Dayan, you said you were bad at it earlier. Did you see my skills? Appa, try harder. It's harder than it looks. In the end they got 3. Let's take one each. Daddy bear. Mommy bear. Baby bear. Aren't they perfect to share among familyless people like us? I mean, you know that saying. With this, we're together no matter where we are. Well, something like that. Dayan. I can't take how cringy this is anymore. You got a death wish? I like it. But the more I look at it, doesn't this kinda look like me? I found this while packing up things in Uni's room. With this, we're together no matter where we are, well, something like that. It was on top of her desk where it was easiest to see. Doesn't this kinda look like me? It looks like a really disobedient bear. Then I'll get going now, Appa. Yeah, be careful. Yunha went away leaving Juyong. Why is she in such a hurry? I can't say it to him after all. Day in uni, I was loyal to the end, at least, right? Next time, you can't say anything if I say I like him, okay? Did you hear? That tattooed religious perverted pig is a eunuch now. How the hell did you use it? 1,000,000 volts on his you know what? More importantly, why are you in there? I was jealous that you get to be in solitary confinement. So I caused some trouble. Next time, then. Oh. Getting interrogated is thrilling. How on earth did you get me out of this solitary confinement room? The correctional officer clearly said this place was being monitored. Plus, you even got me that taser. You were the one who told me about his true crimes. Who on earth are you? It's still a secret. Anyway, I clearly proved myself, right? All right. Let's join hands. Punches of happiness. Now, tell me exactly what kind of help you're gonna be. Don't tell me, are you sleeping? Silent for a moment in the cell. Juyun looked outside with high ambition. That he would avenge all the actions that happened. I thought I'd die while driving. What's the deal with Orabioni? Why did he? Yu Haiwan Heavenly Dragon Scouter, Cha Kangryong's close associate. Have to build his annex in these woods? Heavenly Pavilion Cha Kangryong's annex. He's number 2 in the Heavenly Dragon. He could just get a fancy building in the middle of downtown. Anyway, he's got quite a peculiar taste. You called me Orabiani. I stepped it up to 300 just to see you. Oh my. I'm sorry. You were training, huh? We just finished. Did you have any trouble on your way here? The mountain air is so fresh I loved it. I'm glad to hear that. Right. You have something to tell me? Yes. It's about the young master. The chaos that has been happening all this time is this man's doing. Heavenly Pavilion, Cha Kangryong's building. Speak. They sit down to discuss. Is that so? You must be so proud of him as a parent since your son has been so active. Tell me about my son. After the young master entered the juvenile prison, there was word that conflict came up with several of its leaders. As expected, the young master beat all of them. The heavenly dragon seed was also present among the fighters. This speed was seen or unheard of. It was truly remarkable. It seems the opponents I had an eye for were all beaten by the master. It really hurts my pride. I'm disappointed. What I wanted to see was enlightenment. Right now, he hasn't bloomed into a flower, nor is he a bud. He's simply a sprout that's just begun to spread its roots. It's already been some time since he entered the prison, yet he's only caught a few leaders. If he was my son, he should have shown more. It seems we need a method to advance this enlightenment. Ah, yes. Do you know what Kim Yoon-suk said when I entered the jail? Who's Kim Yoon-suk? My dad. Is he crazy? What did he say? You dipshits. Become a person after you've been beaten. Ha! That's what my mom said. My uncle, too. Upon coming here, I found out that this place turned ordinary waste into nuclear waste. Well, only if the warden isn't bribed with money. I've even picked up cigs from here too. Since there's no way of helping this dump site, should I just burn it all to the ground? This is a fucked life already. I should at least make a name for myself as a lunatic in this world. To burn everything without any evidence, don't you think my father would say that's the way to become a human? Do it then. Burn it. I'm telling you to do it. Choi Yun-teek. Building 5, 37th cell leader. It's a joke we'd be fucked if we light a fire. Whenever I see arrogant guys like you, it pisses me off. This is how you punish people. Teacher. Your trap keeps yapping this and that. Please don't step out of line. It really pisses me off. Choi Yun-teek, crimes for obstruction of justice and bodily harm. Leader. Earlier, I mentioned a guy called Cha Ju-young. Just when I left him to do what he wanted. He keeps overstepping. Worship him. For he has returned. Ju-young Nim has returned once again. Cut the shit, guys. You look better. Same goes for you. Nothing happened while I was gone, right? Yeah. I'd been caring for them all well. First time I've seen him. Oh. A freshie arrived recently. He's kind of skinny, but he's not a bad guy. A freshie. Room 36. Your afternoon task is working outside. Hurry up and get ready. There's a term called God. It's a process where you stuff every known and unknown insect into a jar and after they've eaten each other alive. The last surviving insect is known to be the venomous one. Similarly, the juvenile prison is the same jar that's filled with venomous insects. My son is obligated to eat stronger, deadly poisons. Venomous insects, you say? I've already put them in. A very strong one at that. Working outside? Yes, the entirety of Cha Ju-young's cell room has started working behind Building 5. Works perfectly. Observing how Cha Ju-young is slacking like a loser makes my blood boil. I've endured long enough. Then how shall we? I don't care about leaders. Nor do I need names. I'm going to kill him. Ju-young. Covered in a lot of blood. What happened? Blood. The red paint isn't coming off. What blood are you talking about? I'll suck it for you. How'd you fall exactly? Work is finished. Expect more because work will be harder tomorrow. I'm aching all over. Should I press charges against the human rights organizations for forced labor? As if that would change anything. Huh? What? Why is there paint here? Wait. This isn't paint. Isn't this person the 37th cell leader? Son. Your father has awaited for the time when you might fully bloom. However, be cautious. So your stems aren't cut before you bloom. Venomous insects, you say? I've already put them in. First time I've seen him. Oh. A freshie arrived recently. I want to see how much you can struggle. My lovely son. Room number 36. This room's had a lot of personnel changes, hasn't it? You've got a new person. A new guy. He's fucking huge. He's kinda creepy. Just when Ju-young went into solitary. He looks like he used to run errands. What are you in for? Special violence? Or murder? Chirp. What's wrong with him? I told you he's creepy. A sparrow? What the? Where did the bird come from? I picked it up on my way here. Why would you bring it here? It looked like it was abandoned by its mom, and I felt bad for it. This place isn't a nest. It's flying. He chased the bird. What the? He's a lot more stupid than I thought. Thank God, he's a dork. Do-hyun was confused by the man's behavior. The bird was seen aiming at Ju-young's photo. Then he fell silent when he saw Ju-young's photo. What's going on, especially when Ju-young just came back from solitary? The head of room number 37. He was found unconscious and taken to the hospital, but apparently he had 23 fractures in his body. I wonder how many weeks it'll take for him to recover. There weren't any security cameras, so no one knows who did it. I wonder who in the world did that. Looked at the new man. It's suspicious. While we were painting the prison walls. It may have only been for a moment, but there was a moment when I didn't see the guy. And what was splattered on his shoes when he came back? Wasn't paint. The scars on his body could be traces of the fight back then. What are you still doing here? Oh, I was just thinking about something. I've got something to tell you. What? Newbie. You're covered with bruises and scars. Are you part of some gang? What were you doing before you came here? These are from getting beat up by my father. Fell silent when he heard that from his father. PE is 5th period. I should borrow a PE uniform. I grew so fucking much that I can't fit into anything. Whoa. What's that? What's what? Oh, Cha Ju-young. He's been known in this neighborhood for a very long time. For getting beat up by his father, who's a part of the gang. What the, really? Why wasn't he reported? It's too scary. Do you think you could do it? I feel so bad for him. Oh, this grew a bit. I think I grew about 1 cm since I came to juvie. Wash up. We have less than a minute. Someone let me borrow their towel. Do you have shampoo? Hear this. Is this pity? Do you think I look like I can pity someone? Especially when you and I have had equally pitiful lives. Come on out when you are done. I have a question. Where did everyone else go? I told them to leave first. Why? Don't you think it's strange? The scars on your body and the scars on my body are the exact same. They both seemed speechless when they learned what might be the truth. That's. Suddenly, Ju-young threw his hand out. He quickly choked his and pushed her against the wall. He was cornered against the wall, unable to move. There's no way it's a coincidence. No matter how I see it, those scars are done by him. You don't have any tattoos, so I didn't recognize you. Cha Kangryong sent you, didn't he? Just silent with sharp eyes. Not gonna say anything, huh? Keep that up, why don't you? Very soon. You're gonna spill everything.